Jesus to the least of these. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love. Little hands, shoeless feet, lonely eyes looking back at me. Will we leave behind the innocent to grieve? On their own, on the run, when their lives have only begun. These could be our daughters and our sons. And just like a drum, I can hear their hearts beating. I know my God won't let them be defeated. Every child has a dream to belong and be loved. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these. When we love the least of these. Break our hearts once again. Help us to remember when we were only children hoping for a friend. Won't you look around? These are the lives that the world has forgotten, waiting for doors of our hearts and our homes to open.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
Good morning. Welcome to the King's Report this Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. I'm your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk. Let's first go to Tim, the agent elder, for our AccuWeather forecast. Tim.
Good morning. Yesterday was the warmest day that we are going to have this week. It was into the mid-70s here in Cheongguk. And last night we had some rain moving through, and that brought the temperature down. So probably today we're only going to get into the 60s. And we're already at 62 right now, and it's probably get up to about 66. And then today the wind is going to be a factor. Today we have gusts going up to 37 miles an hour with the sustained winds of 17 miles. So today and tomorrow it's going to be pretty breezy.
Breezy and a little cooler
Yes.
is in store for us this week. Thank you, Tim, for that report. Get ready for some wonderful cooler weather, which is fantastic. I do enjoy the changes of the seasons, but it is nice to have a little relief. Yesterday was quite hot, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Today is more normal for this time of year.
There you go. All right, folks, we are in Zechariah today. This Zechariah 9 to be exact. We are in a section called the Coming King. The chapter 9 starts in Israel defended against enemies. God is faithful. Then it goes to the second section, which is called the Coming King. Then the third section, God will save his people. And we have come to Zechariah 9:9 as our Rima today. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king is coming to you. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding on a donkey, a colt, the foal of a donkey. I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem. The battle bow shall be cut off. He shall speak peace to the nations. His dominion shall be from sea to sea, and from the river to the ends of the earth. Amen. That is verse 9 and 10. That was my Rhema today. And of course, this scripture is in the Old Testament and is prophesying about Jesus coming. Of course, we also have scripture in Genesis 3 talking about Jesus right after the fall of man, that the Lord will come and that there will be a man that will rise up from the seed that will stomp on the head of the serpent, but he will be bitten on the foot. This verse in Zechariah is, of course, the verse prophesying and about the coming of Jesus, that he will be the king that is coming. He will be just, and there will be salvation. He'll be lowly and riding on a donkey. This is amazing. Lowly and riding on a donkey, a colt, the foal of a donkey. All that coming to pass with Jesus on Palm Sunday, seeking that donkey and riding it in to Jerusalem. Who knew when the Messiah was here, only a few could recognize his presence? When Jesus was here, he had many followers, so he performed miracles, and many people who were connected to his ministry by miracles and wonders, signs and wonders, etc. But it is not the miracles that make the Messiah. We know, for example, there were many Jewish exorcists and priests that could do exorcisms. There were many Jewish healers. We know that even the Pharaoh's magicians could do magic that was comparable to Moses. So it's not the miracles and the extraordinary feats that would make the holy prophet or the Messiah. It's not their ability, it's God's choice. We many times focus on the ability of the prophet and or the Messiah, and not God's choice. Even John 3:16 says, "Therefore God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever shall believe on him shall have eternal life." I said, "For God so loved the world." See, God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son. Jesus was chosen by God to give himself. Even in the Garden of Gethsemane, he said, "Father, let this cup pass from me. Let your will be done." It's a very interesting debate in the early church about the nature of the Messiah. And here I'm talking not only talking about Trinitarian theology, which is talking about the nature of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I'm talking about Christology, which is a different, more nuanced facet about what Christ himself. And the idea that Christ is 100% God, 100% man. There were some thinkers that thought he was 2/3 man, or part man, and part God. But the church, early church, had to clarify this because it was absolutely critical. Without this clarification, for example, God, to back up just a point, just a little bit, God had to be fully human to stand in our place before the judgment seat of the law. He was only 2/3 human, then only 2/3 standing in our place of our sin. The Bible says our sin was nailed on the cross with Jesus. It would only be 2/3 salvation in terms of our own redemption. So he had to be 100% man, meaning that 100% of our sin, as we accept Jesus and surrender to him, that there would be 100% restitution of sin. And on the other side, he had to be 100% God in the flesh for him to appease the just wrath of God. For only God can, God's perfection, God's total holiness can appease, God's total flawlessness can appease the law. Isn't that interesting? So this, of course, was the Athanasius debate, the Athanasian doctrine, that in the end Christians saw as the critical point in understanding the nature of Christ. And the church and those who did not accept the Athanasian doctrine were not considered Christian. They were considered a heretical church that did not understand the uniqueness of Jesus Christ. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
So this, of course, shows that the Catholic Church is heretical, as they believe in the co-intercessory nature of both Jesus and Maria. That's heresy. And that's actually heresy from before the Catholic Church. That would be considered heresy, absolutely heresy. Understand the nature of Christ, understanding the need for the retribution of our sins, understanding the need for the perfection of God in standing before the law to satisfy the law. Also helps us understand the nature of Father, the Lord, Son, and Advent. It was you on my, yeah. There's a wonderful testimony from a sister who gave a wonderful lecture to a Christian pastor. I'm not going to say who it is, but gave a lecture to a Christian pastor about why Father's the Lord, Second Advent. And she said he was mesmerized. She said she knew him for a whole long time. She knows who she is. She knew him for a long time, but never had the guts to actually proclaim him. And this time she gave the whole seed theology lecture on True Father to the Christian pastor. And she said that he was he said It's the most interested he's ever been. So we are. In any case, the point is, when we understand the true nature of Christ, we can understand our relationship deepens. It deepens with Him. Not that He's just this lowly prophet riding on a donkey, but He is the one. He is the special chosen one that brings peace to the nations. His dominion shall be from sea to sea, and the river to the ends, and from the river to the ends of the earth. Think about how the disciples who were skeptical said, hey, no, Jesus died. He didn't speak peace to nations. He didn't have dominion. He didn't become the king. He didn't have dominion from sea to sea. Aha, just wait a moment. And within just a couple hundred years, Christ had dominion from sea to sea. The prophecy came true. At that moment, it was unseen to the naked eye. But just wait a minute. For within a short span of time, for which God has no time limit, from sea to shining sea, well, not shining sea, sea to sea, there's a scripture, from the river to the ends of the earth, the gospel of Jesus Christ covered the earth. Yes, the Lord's second advent has returned and created His kingship and the kingdom of Chaniguk. And one may say, well, it's not here yet. Well, just wait a minute. For His kingdom is coming. We'll be right back after the short break. Woo!
At break of day, in hope we rise. We speak your name.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
At break of day, in hope we rise. We speak your name.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report this morning. I'm your host, Cheong Sean Moon, the second king of Chaniguk. And let's now move to our headline news for today. Mrs. Kang is resting today. I guess it's allergies. You know, a lot of people get allergies during this time, right? It's allergy season. I heard Gideon, a young man here, saying that actually he healed his allergies, were healed by coconut oil. Coconut oil, had a teaspoon of coconut oil every day, and that healed him when he was younger. So we have all the kids and the queen also delighting in about a teaspoon of coconut oil every day.
Locally produced honey also works, I think.
Yes, that does help. Now she's done that before, and so she's trying the coconut oil, and it seems to be working. It seems to be helping. I guess it has some antihistamine functions. I know coconut oil is antibacterial.
Okay.
But of
Give
course,
that a
that is
try.
different from histamine, which is the what begins or starts allergies for people. I'm very blessed in the fact that I don't get allergies. I'm very blessed. I can be in like a cloud of bee pollen or whatever, flower pollen, and I don't get allergies.
Strong immune system.
I don't know what it is, but it's I don't get the allergies. But I've heard that people who used to not have allergies can all of a sudden get allergies. Is that true? That apparently is true, right? So I'm not testing the Lord my God. I'm being grateful for the fact that I don't have allergies up till now. I will not test the Lord my God. And I will be grateful for his blessings. Top news on Fox News. Look at this. Top news on Fox News, folks. North Korea, U.S. bomber flight pushes two countries on the brink of nuclear war. Wow. Again, North Korea is not fading into the vestiges of the back burners of the news. They keep on making their way to the top.
Trump is keeping up the pressure.
He is. He's absolutely doing it. North Korea on Tuesday said the United States' decision to fly two supersonic B-1B Lancer bombers in the area in a training drill is a provocation and puts the two countries on the brink of nuclear war. The reckless military provocation is pushing the situation on the Korean peninsula closer to the brink of nuclear war, the North's official KCNA news agency said on Tuesday, according to Reuters. North Korea conducted another missile test on Tuesday.
On Saturday.
On Saturday. Can't read today. Its third launch in April alone, which reportedly failed soon after the launch. And its foreign ministry said Monday the country will speed up measures to bolster its nuclear program at the maximum pace. A statement circulated by North Korea's UN mission says the government is ready to respond to any option taken by the U.S. President Trump said after North Korea's latest failed rocket launch that communist leader Kim Jong-un will eventually develop better missiles. We can't allow that to happen. In a taped interview broadcast Sunday on CBS Face the Nation, the president would not discuss the possibility of military action, saying it's a chess game. I just don't want people to know what my thinking is. Trump also said that he would be willing to meet with Kim. The New York Times reported that no sitting president has met with a North Korean leader since his grandfather, Kim Il-sung. Kim Jong-un would be delighted to meet with President Trump on the basis of one nuclear leader to another. Christopher Hill, a diplomat under President Bush, told the paper, "If I were Trump, I would pass on that."
Well, he said under the right conditions. They didn't quite give the full quote here.
Right. Separately, Trump's national security advisor, H.R. McMaster, said North Korea's most recent missile test represents open defiance of the international community. He said North Korea poses a grave threat not just to the U.S. and its Asian allies, but also China. Now, H.R. McMaster was given a scathing, on InfoWars, I think it was yesterday. They had Dr. Steve Pachinik, and I want to show that clip. But he rails on McMaster. Dr. Steve Pachinik, of course, is the one who was like top head director of psychological operations. He was responsible for the takedown of some countries in, I can't remember, was it Cuba or it was in Latin America. He was also, of course, he's also a psychiatrist as well, a Harvard-trained psychiatrist, as well as writing books with Tom Clancy about the intelligence world. And, of course, super high contact within the intelligence agency. And he was railing on McMaster, saying that these generals are totally incompetent, and that it is common in revolutionary history that those who help the revolution or bring the revolution to success and bring somebody to power then ends up being the ones targeted to be destroyed. So Steve Pacinic is saying that the targeting of InfoWars and Breitbart, but especially InfoWars, and being sued and being, hacked, all this kind of thing, is coming from the White House, not from Trump, but it's coming from the White House with these rhino Republicans who were not part of the revolution. They were not part of the Trump revolution. They were part of the establishment. They were those who were cowardly and did not step forward. But they've now come to power in the Trump administration, and now they're trying to get rid of the honest mainstream alternative media that they know will hold them accountable. And this is very common with even, for example, tyrants as well. Hitler promised the members of not only his intelligence community, but the warriors that fought for him, that he would give them, he would raise their pensions, he would give them benefits, etc. But of course, once he got to power, they became a threat because they were the ones that actually know how to fight and take people out. So as soon as he got to power, then he got rid of or imprisoned the very warriors that helped him get to power. That's, of course, on the evil side. But that stands same on the able side. Trump himself is not going after the alternative media. But people within his administration, including McMaster, are part of this, what Steve Pacinic calls a cowardly, quote, troop, which is coming after the very revolutionaries and even, for example, Julian Assange, who was a massive help in the revolution against Clinton and against the global elite, the cartel of political Satanism. But now they're coming after him. See, now they're convincing Trump, like, no, you can't let me. He may do stuff against you. And so McMaster, of course, constantly trying to push for open war. These guys are totally rhino Republicans. These guys are warmongers. They are not for, they say they're for diplomatic solutions, but they've always been pushing war. And they're part of the establishment and the military-industrial complex, which benefits and profits off of war. So again, these kind of people saying these kind of very dangerous things, not saying that North Korea is not participating there, but again, we see the escalation. Let's go to that video. Okay, Kim, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Before we move away from North Korea,
Yes, we will not, but go ahead.
I just want to point out a couple more facts. That is that the U.S. military's THAAD missile defense system has now reached an initial operating capability to defend against the North Korean missiles. And this was initially they were going to deploy by the end of this year, but they sped that up, partly because of the North Korea tension, but I think also partly because they wanted to get it done before the new president comes into office on May 9th in South Korea.
Yes, that's a good.
And I felt that probably the highest danger or possibility of a U.S. attack against North Korea would be after the deployment of the THAAD system is finished and before the South Korean May 9th election. So I think the next 7 days is kind of a dangerous period for
Critical time.
South Korea.
That's a great point. Now, the next 7 days is absolutely critical.
Right.
Let's take a look.
And just one more thing about North Korea is that the Chinese town of Tandung, which is on the North Korean border, is suddenly hiring a lot of Korean interpreters, Korean Chinese interpreters. They sent out an official notice saying they want to hire a lot of Korean interpreters, potentially in preparation for influx of refugees from a war-torn North Korea.
There you go. Let's get a picture of Hong Trump,
Hong Jun-pyo,
who is the
conservative candidate.
candidate,
Yes.
who is now rising. He's rising in the polls. Major conglomerates. He's up to like 14%, I think, support. But what's a major
Depends on
polls-
which poll you look at. I've seen other polls that say 20s.
Oh, really?
The polls
Okay.
are really crazy right now.
And what's it? Major, I guess, conservative peoples in Korea, like who are, I don't know, the Queen knows.
정규제.
Oh no, Cheonggyeji, of course we know, but there's also major conglomerates that have come out saying that they will no longer support An Cheol-soo
Right.
and support Hong Trump.
Right, and some of the members of the parliament have come to Hong's
Trump as
support. Yeah.
And of course, he's the one that is the closest to sovereignty and the closest to the Trump and the able policy in Korea. But again, 7 days is not a lot of time. It's not a lot of time to defeat. There he is. There's Hong Trump. There's Mr. Hong Trump. They call him Hong Trump or Hong Cider. Hong Cider. Because they say he's shware. That means he's refreshing because he speaks the truth. He's like, he doesn't talk about, he's not PC. He speaks the truth and curses out those, politicians like Trump. But he is actually rising the polls. But again, 7 days is a very short period of time. But he seems to be the sovereignty candidate that is rising. We'll be back with more on the King's Report. Stay with us on this exciting day.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. I'm your host, Hyungjae Sean Moon, the second king of Cheonggyeok. Let's go now to this incredible interview with Dr. Steve Pieczenik on Infowars.com. Let's go to this interview.
He's been compromised by communist China. And sure enough, it was in the New York Times last Friday that Jared Kushner's tied into that. Now, he's got some breaking factoids. Former State Department head of psychological operations, worked with other agencies, was involved in regime change, you name it. Did the Camp David Accord successfully. Has a great pedigree, co-wrote books with, of course, Tom Clancy. He's also a medical doctor, psychiatrist, and military veteran. And that's Dr. Steve Pieczenik. I just invited him on the show to see what's going on. I don't know the topics he's got. But I tell you, watching a bunch of spoiled brats celebrate collectivism and communism all over the world today as they're trying to run from North Korea into China, because it's quasi-free market. They're trying to run from Cuba here. They're running from Venezuela to get out of there. I mean, where is this utopia on May Day, Dr. Pieczenik? I know your family, your dad was in the French Army, World War II, got driven out.
May Day being
Some
the
died in
day
the
that
Holocaust,
communists
then you went to
support.
Cuba, then you came here. You're uniquely, I think, vetted with the pedigree to speak about the wonders of communism on May Day.
Well, as you know, there are no wonders of communism. My former assignment under Nixon and then under Reagan and Bush was to
Dennis Prager has a
create
very
the
nice
architecture
piece
for the
on
takedown of the
communism
Soviet
type of
Union.
company.
I did that at the
Prager
Rand Corporation, came back into the Reagan
Very nice
administration
piece.
under Baker and then under Bush. And we were successful in taking it down without any soldiers. The reason is very simple. It's not that I'm all that great or we were great in regime change. It was that Soviet Union and communism just didn't work. And it was rotten from the inside. I had men who were walking in the streets at literally 7 in the morning, totally drunk. No jobs. They had factories which were making things that were not useful. The army was not very effective. The intelligence service could be bought off, so forth and so on. So communism, the notion of the left and the ideology of the left is all fine and good, but in reality, it has no credibility. It has no viability. It has no legs to stand on. So when you're young, you want to protest and rebel. The Jacobean Revolution was under Robespierre, did effectively bring in Napoleon. The Russian Revolution effectively brought in Stalin. Now, what I'm about to say is going to be a little disconcerting to you and your listeners, but it's very important for me to say this right now. The revolution you had started, Alex, had nothing to do with communism, had to do with the voice of America and shifting us to the alternative right, or whatever narrative we want to use.
New right.
New right. The point I'm trying to make, and I wrote this several weeks ago, was the following. When Alex Jones gets compromised for whatever reason, I'm sorry you had to go to court. I saw that issue. Then I saw that Fox News was in trouble and Riley was compromised. Then I saw that Bannon was compromised. Now I see that Gork is compromised. So basically what we have now, Alex, is a counter-revolution, or basically what's happening in any revolution. It's what Hitler did in the Night of the Long Knives when he took care of his SA people and he exterminated them. Same
That's
thing.
right. First, they politically shut down your voice before they physically shut you down. And when you use the word compromised, I'm not backing down or giving up under this organized assault.
That's why I state this to the audience and I say it to you. I wrote that and I still mean that you are the American icon. However, the orders came out. There's no question in my mind now. It came out of the White House because the Clintons could never do this. The left doesn't have that kind of intelligence. They don't have that kind of capability. But within the structure of McMaster, the National Security Council, and the fact that we're mobilizing both into North Korea, into Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria, it became obvious to me that whatever orders came out of the Trump administration, whether it was Jared or it was McMaster, didn't matter to me. Basically, what it said is we're going to shut up the voices of the alternative right.
No, I've got it. Trump doesn't want, or his people don't want the weapons lying around that brought him to power. Just like that's normally happens in a revolution. Whoever helps you get in, correct, you end up destroying. I don't think Trump's doing that himself, but it's very, very clear that this is being directed. Because, look, Trump didn't get rid of that office that Obama set up that was designed to go after the new right. And so basically it's just been taken on, and now we see this gutting taking place, or this attempt to.
Well, the gutting, well, what I'm getting at is it's exactly right, Alex. You know this, I know this is the history of all revolutions, whether it's the left or the right. Immediately, those we bring to power, whether they're generals or civilians in the senior ranks, they have never been in the forefront of any revolution. Our generals, who are 3, 4 stars or whatever, they sit back, they use the system. Then when they get in a position of power, they try to eliminate any of the voices of agitation propaganda. That comes out from you, that would have come out from Bannon, that would have come out from Gorka, that would have come out from any other people. From my point of view, this was part of the system, and I was waiting for it to happen.
That's right, and let's be clear historically. It's because they don't want people who effectively led peaceful revolutions still around. In case they go sideways, they know we can remove them. So what do you think I should do about this?
Well, number one, the reason I'm coming on the show, one is to show my support to you. As I said, you're both a friend and you're an American icon. Number two, I think you should consistently maintain the dialogue that we, not Bannon, not Breitbart, not the Mercers, no one else, no other generals. There isn't one general who has the guts to come forth in a revolution. They're just not that way. They're socialized to be within their own system, almost a socialization system or socialism.
They're specialized in their own little paradigm to control them.
Correct. And the paradigm is a dangerous one because it demands a lot of money from us, the taxpayers, and at the same time, it's the expansion of, once again, Halliburton, KBR. They're all over Djibouti. They're all over Africa.
So basically, they're in their own ivory tower, forbidden city, delusional, and they are scared of the power that brought them to power.
Correct.
I know for a fact that Trump wanted to continue to work with us, but the elites told him, no, you can't do that. Well, when's it going to end? They're always going to demand more from him, but they never compromise.
Go after Julian Assange,
Well, that's correct, Alex. It has to now depend on the character of Trump. If, in fact, he's a man of his word, a man of his conviction, not mercurial, not suddenly waving around and bringing in the people he does not know, or bringing in Jared Kushner with the Steinmetz family and the Israelis and the Goldman Sachs boys, none of whom have been tutored in anything to do with national security, national foreign policy. But we're structured now to be in a position of several wars at the same time. North Korea has been in a position where for the past 20 to 30 years, our military has developed what's called the 5027 plan or 5029 plan, where the Army, Navy, Marines, Special Forces can preempt an attack on North Korea. In Afghanistan, we have Marines going back in after our Marines were killed in exactly the same place. We have a 15-year war. We have Marines that were stationed, Special Forces, in Syria with artillery and with howitzers and soldiers. In effect, what we have is a military out of control, once again, which has never performed effectively. Never. Not since the Korean War, not since the Vietnam.
Sure, but let me just stop you there. Let's look at the waterfront. I even told my lawyer 3 weeks ago, I said, I've looked at this attack, and I said, I guarantee you the people in the Trump administration that are forming this deep state coup to capture the president, which they've almost completed at many levels, they see us as a threat. And I said, this is being directed by people inside the White House. I said, these attacks are too concerted, too coordinated. And I said, I know it's not Trump doing it because I see the very same people sabotaging him, backbiting him like Gingrich did, saying he's not going to drain the swamp. Trump's bringing jobs back. He's exposing globalism. He's doing a lot of good things like killing TPP, but clearly he's got people culling the patriots out, organizing to go after the Freedom Caucus. But here's the good news. Their attacks on us, the Democrats, the Soros groups, Soros's very law firm that he founded in New York's the one suing me with the yogurt maker and the Islamicist. If you expand on that and you look at all the groups that are coming after us, it's all completely and absolutely coordinated. But here's the good news. Our listeners see it. They're only intensifying our support. We're only getting more affiliates. We're only, in the face of this becoming more successful, it's backfired, just like media attacks only help Trump. So then I'm not stupid. I realize, oh my God, they're only assassinating my character because they probably, I think, are beginning to move into the zone where they might trump something up, pun intended, or actually kill me. What do you think?
They're not going to kill you. There's no reason to kill you. They tried a verbal assassination. It didn't work. I mean, with all these nonsensical comedians, whether Colbert or Samantha Bee or whatever it was, no one listens to that anymore. It's antiquated. They're basically on their own sinking ship.
Most people don't, but some weak-minded people that I've been around actually do.
Well, the point is this. It's not about a few. The mainstream that we've created and that you've created and that part of our intelligence and military was part of, and then suddenly they turned around to try to desiccate or try to eviscerate us, that's not going to work. Because contrary to their understanding of the American people, this is not the old times with Smedley. This is not the old times with anybody else who brought them to power. This is a new time when the internet and people like ourselves can create a lot of problems for our own establishment. Now, once again, the military-industrial complex is far more important than Chobani. You know, the Turkish man who wants to sue you for yogurt, let him do that. It's a waste of time and money. Your character is strong enough and you're smart enough and you're witty enough. Almost reminds me of this guy, Bill Hicks, but of course you're not he. So your brilliance is so sharp that it's a knife in itself. You continue to be what you are, But I want to tell you that there was no question in my mind that this was a concerted effort by the White House to tame down or eviscerate the very people who were brought to power.
Sure. Well, just to be nice, I'm not that smart. I'm following the blueprint of Americana. But let's pull back from this. What do you expect them to do next? What do you see the next move being?
Well, what they're going to do next is try to expose any vulnerabilities that you may have again, or I may have, or any one of a number of people who are not following the trend or are not, succumbing to the military-industrial complex. You're talking about KBR in Djibouti having an incredible presence when we have no national security interests in Sudan, Somalia, or any of the African countries.
And by the way, I've had a lot of special forces people that just got back tell me, in fact, some senior ones, the exact same thing, that it's a disaster, that we're wrecking it, that we're looting it, and so they're very upset. But separately, let me just give people some good news. I don't want to give sources out, obviously, but let's just say this. I know Mike Cernovich's sources. The government knows his sources, so it's not a secret to them. But it's obviously who's been retweeting him and saying he's a great guy and retweeting our stuff. There are people very close to the president who are for real. Hell, it's not a secret. It's his sons, especially Donald Jr. is a total patriot. And there's a bunch of other people. So Trump is for real, but he's being pulled by every side. And there are folks inside the White House threatening nuclear option to release information if they continue this. But there is an attempt to have a soft coup against the president. What do we do about that?
Well, and we go back once again. This revolution was started with a coup and then a counter coup, and right now they have a soft coup where they've taken over, and now I think Eric Jr. has to come into the forefront. I've repeatedly said that Jared has to leave. There's no question he's involved in corruption with the Chinese. There's no question he's involved in corruption with the Israeli family, the Steinmetz, who were already indicted for diamond smuggling and illegal activities. I'm saying this to the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. He knows very well that this family, the Kushner family and the Steinmetzes, are totally corrupt. We cannot have that in the White House. This is not a nepotism republic. This is a republic that fought its way by people like you, me, and others who went to war. Kushner never went to war. The Israelis never went to war with us. Mossad was 9/11. The Israelis were involved in 9/11. We have the neocons coming back. I am warning the administration again and again. I did not take the time and the effort and the liberty and the risk that others are willing to do to bring back the pathetic neocons like Elliot Abrams or John Bolton or any one of these morons that you're putting in there. If McMaster doesn't understand how he came to power because Tom Clancy and I gave him money in Armcav. He came to power because he sat on the boards of other companies. Mr. Mattis was on the board of Dynacorp. He was on the board of another company. If the generals really think they are that great, they better look into the mirror. They have never won a war.
No, not the women.
Never taken
But
down
of
a
course,
regime,
and not the women around the world who are
repeatedly
standing for
in
father
executing
and
any military action.
putting
This has
their
been our
reputation
history
and sometimes life at
before
risk.
Korea, before Vietnam.
No, those are honorable women. But there are, when you look at the elitist class,
and
girls that are very spoiled.
I go back to McMaster. This is a dereliction of duty.
They really have never had
Anything
their
he wants
epigenetics
to do
unlocked
now and a force
and have
structure,
never
bringing out
really done anything
soldiers
hard.
into North Korea and
They sell
thinking
out
that you
very
can
quickly
preempt an attack
to
on
where they
North
think
Korea
resources
when
are. Of
they're
course,
30 miles away from
because
Seoul
they sell out
is
to
both
evil,
idiotic and inept.
that
At the same
becomes
time,
their downfall.
Continuing a war for 15 years in Afghanistan, where thousands of our Marines were killed in Helmand Province.
Okay, anyways, a very
putting
powerful
Marines
interview
is
with
the
Dr.
most
Steve
important
Pachinik
war.
on Infowars.com, going into the nature of the military-industrial complex, which of course is starting to not only cozy up to Trump, but trying to take him over and, I like what he said, capture the president. Capture the president. And of course, this is where the character of the man really comes out. Will Trump, see, Trump is playing ninth dimensional chess. When you look at his speech, we'll look at it in Pennsylvania, that he gave in the 100-day speech. When he comes in front of the public, he's aware of the frustration that public also has with him starting to change some of his positions. And we'll see it. But even when he talks about the wall, for example, don't worry, it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. He'll say those kind of things, knowing that the public is saying, where is it? Where is it? So Trump is showing signs that he's still aware of the public. He's not completely isolated. He knows that there is a growing constituency of the people who supported him that are getting worried by his leanings towards the Republican rhinos, the generals, which are part of the military-industrial complex establishment, etc. So Trump, and of course even with China, he also mentions China in that speech as well, saying that, hey, look, they're not currency manipulating now, and we're in negotiations now, so we have to, it's not the right time to call them out. So he's aware of the fact that the public is becoming unhappy with him. Not only the general public, I'm talking about the supporters of Trump. And that's a very good sign. And of course, now we're becoming more and more clear, like in this interview, Donald J. Trump, Eric Trump, but specifically Donald J. Trump was mentioned, are the ones that are much more patriotic and that stand with the real alternative, the real victorious coup revolution, which is the essentially libertarian head-wing party. Okay? Now, we know Ivanka now has been identified with Jared Kushner as not only being lifelong Democrats, etc., but they are the ones who are the weak link through which the centralists are working through to try to increase their power base within the White House. So we know they are the problem. They are a main problem.
Yes.
Those rich, what do they call them? Rich bitches. Rich bitch. Those rich girls, boy, when they get that level and literally are worshipped like goddesses, they want to be goddesses. And they like the whole culture of that super elite. They just like it. They like having all these underlings worshiping them. And, they all feel all their little insecurities and like going to all those fancy restaurants and thinking that they're something and important and that they've arrived, and in their mind trying to pretend that they're some kind of celebrity, even though it's their dad who worked his tail off to make all that wealth for them. I mean, this is a problem with these Manhattanites and these rich girls. Boy, oh boy, they sell themselves so quick to money, so quick to their little establishment elitist clique. Don't do the right thing. It is such an intense time. Now it's become clearer and clearer within the Trump family and also within the Trump White House who is becoming the problems and who are the keys in this ninth dimensional chess game that is being played before the world. We'll be right back after the short break. Stay with us.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. I'm your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk, and as we just dissect the ninth dimensional chess game that President Trump is in. I want to now go to his speech where we can see clear signs of his humanity. He's still there. His spirit is still there. He's still there with the people. Now, we have to remember, folks, that he's dealing with major crime syndicates, the most dangerous in the world, or at least one of the most dangerous in the world. And there's parts within that crime syndicate that are factioning and that are factions that are fighting for power. That's really the Republican Rhino and then the leftist lunatics and the CIA. So you have real, not all the CIA, but parts of the CIA. So you have major factions within this crime syndicate that he has to be played with. He has to use the right amount of blackmail, the right amount of subterfuge, the right amount of sabotage, the right amount of all this nefarious stuff, because he's not, look, his job doesn't require only him doing good things. It requires him doing a lot of wicked things too. And he's got to win against these demons. But he can't push it too far where they panic and they kill him. And we can't have the president obviously be assassinated. I mean, that would be absolutely devastating. So he's having to play and negotiate the right amount of pressure that he has to use on them, whether that is blackmail, whether that is threatening them, whether it is veiled threats, whether it is subterfuge, whether it is letting them rise a little bit, but then letting them fall. All these things he's got to do with these various power blocks within the establishment. And he can't totally break away from the establishment because they'll literally go against him and try to impeach him on war crimes. So he's got to play his cards super carefully. It's not a joke, the level he's playing at. He's at the same time got to work against an entire media establishment, the fake stream media that is trying to destroy him at every turn. Of course, they're part of the CIA. You can even look up Operation Mockingbird. Guys, you can pull up Operation Mockingbird. How the CIA essentially took over the mainstream media, New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, etc., all the quote mainstream media. And that was during the time we were fighting the Russians, trying to help, quote, journalists stop Russian propaganda, but of course, taking over journalists and making journalists CIA agents. The point is, he's dealing with massive criminal bosses and organizations that are deeply rooted in the deep state establishment. The military-industrial complex, the intelligence agency, the liberal media, the politicians, rhinos, etc. All those group he's trying to do at the same time he's trying to fulfill his promises to the American public, which he has been doing. In the 100 days that he's worked, he has done incredible amounts, lowering the illegal immigration rate 73%. Somebody asked, how do you calculate that? Well, you calculate that by seeing how many illegals entered the country before Trump was there, and now how many have not are getting through per month. So if there's 100, then it's down by 73%. Now you got 27%, 27 per 100 coming in, which is a massive drop. Massive. I mean, that's huge. He's bringing jobs back. He's bringing stock market is soaring. He's pulled us out of TPP and NAFTA and unfair trade deals and is allowing us to rebuild the infrastructure and manufacturing and the energy or resourcing our own energy, etc. All these things which pull us into independence from the global cartel of the crime syndicate bosses. So he has to move on certain things, but he has to concede on certain things as he's trying to move on larger things, but at the same time make those concessions traps for his enemies so that he's able to pull out of those concessions and then deliver on promises. It's a massive game of warfare. And one thing that I found very heartening in listening to the speech is that he still has humanity. The man is still alive. He's not completely overwhelmed by Satan. He still loves the people. And this is the test of his true character now. Even saying things like we're got to go after Assange, we're going to go after alternative news. We don't know. He may be using that as a trope, but then we'll stall on it as they try to go after them, as the CIA and what's it, Comey and these guys who hate Assange because they were responsible for the coup that defeated them. As they give the order, as they start moving on them, Trump may start just being like a dead weight. So we have to see how he will react, but we know that he's playing a very dangerous game, of course, which he has to because he's trying to reform this establishment, which is completely corrupt and completely criminal. Let's take a look at this rally. And look at this. CNN is forced to cover the whole thing. Look at this. They hate it, but they're forced to play the whole thing.
Did they show the crowd?
Thank you.
Well, they show the crowd behind
Ladies
him.
and gentlemen, it is truly great to be back in the wonderful, beautiful state of Pennsylvania. I love this state, and I love the people of this state. It's special, and it carried us to a big, beautiful victory on
See,
November
he doesn't forget.
8th.
He doesn't forget. And he's comfortable with working class people. Look at this. He's best when he's with the working class people. He's best with normal Americans. He is.
I want to recognize some of our friends that have helped us so much.
we go.
Congressman Scott Perry, G.T. Thompson, a couple of my originals, Mike Kelly, who I watched on television. He was great. Where's Mike Kelly? Where is Mike Kelly? He's here someplace. Where is he? Boy, were you great on television this morning. And of course, one of our other originals, Congressman Tom Marino, right?
That's Tom Marino.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
We've met on many
Thank
occasions.
you, Tom. As you may know,
I don't like how they're trying to
there's
bring him in
another
as a
big
drug
gathering
czar.
taking place
But
tonight
we'll have to see how that
in
pans
Washington,
out.
D.C. Did you hear about it?
He's talking about the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Look at how he mocks him. Watch this. This is great. Watch this.
A large group of Hollywood actors
See, people are waking up.
and Washington media are consoling each other in a hotel ballroom in our nation's capital right now. They are gathered together for the White House Correspondents' Dinner without the president.
Oh! Look at that, see? Watch this. Look at that. He's mocking them.
And I could not possibly be more thrilled than to be more than 100 miles away from Washington Swamp.
See, he's mocking the establishment that they've created for themselves, this little cult of celebrity.
With all of you, and with a much, much larger crowd and much better people, right?
See, he's mocking the self-appointed super elite class who think they can wear black ties and be the ordained lords and gods over America. And all the media that worships them, all the people that are supposed to watch the media and be mesmerized and say, oh yes, I wish I could be like them. This fake elite class that is supposed to be there at the White House, and Trump says, no, I'm not going to attend your stupid little ball. You're unimportant. You're fake. You're not really gods of this earth. You're not really gods of America. You don't own America. I'm going to the people. And he's mocking these self-appointed fake gods that are worshipped like gods. And he's mocking the whole charade and parade. He's mocking the whole pomp and circumstance. He's mocking the whole ball and banquet. He's mocking and saying it's stupid. And I don't even need to be. I'm the center of it. He's saying, I'm the center of it. I'm supposed to be there, but I don't even give a crap. I'm not even there. I'm 100 miles away. You see this? See what's happening? He's breaking down their cult. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Let's go like this. This is fantastic. It's fantastic. He's saying they're illegitimate, self-appointed fake God.
And look at the media back there. They would actually rather be here. I have to tell you.
And now he goes to media. Man. Look at this. He's got to give a couple punches to media. Like this.
That's right.
See, he's so natural. He's so natural when he's in public with people. He's so spontaneous. He's real.
Media outlets like CNN and MSNBC are fake news. Fake news.
And CNN had to play that. Boy, they wanted to edit that out
And
so
they're
bad.
sitting and they're wishing in Washington. They're watching. Right now, they're watching. And they would love to be with us right here tonight. But they're trapped at the dinner, which will be very, very boring. But next year...
See, he's mocking their little dinner, which they create, this little in-group that they say none of you can enter. You just have to watch from outside and through CNN and NBC. None of you can enter here with the special class and the gods that have gathered here of Hollywood and the media and the press and journalists that have the special privileges. See, none of you can be part of that. We are the ones you must envy. We are the ones you must be like. We are the ones that you must bow to and worship. But he's saying, that's crap. It's a stupid dinner with stupid people and a stupid event where they're trying to make stupid comments about me. So I'd rather be hanging out with all you folks. You see that? Mm-hmm. He's tearing down their narrative of idolatry. It's absolutely beautiful, fantastic.
Maybe we'll make it more exciting for them in Washington and we'll show up. But we have a good chance of showing up here again next year, too.
You know what he was doing? They had people, journalists, they were trying to make fun of Trump, that whole White House correspondent dinner. They were just kind of trying to make fun of him, but he's not there, and they look so stupid. They're totally stood up, right? Mm-hmm. It used to be the White House correspondent, they're basically bossing the Trump president what to do. You have to attend our meeting. You have to be there. We run you. You better know who we run. You better know that you better be there. Mm-hmm. And he's saying, screw you. You don't run me. You don't make my schedule. I get to make my own schedule. See, this is what he has to do. This is what he did during the campaign. This is what he needs to do. He needs to be out of all their stupid little events and their little pomp and charades that they're positioning him there for so they can mock him and create a narrative that he's weak and that they control him and that they're above it. But he's saying, no, I'm not going to be there. You're useless. You're stupid. You're outdated. You're fake. And you are not in control. And they're writhing there. And the journalists that were there, trying to focus on making fun of him, but every other journalist is tweeting at the same time that stupid White House correspondent dinner. They're all watching this event on their smartphones. Nobody's watching the main stage. They're all watching their own things, trying to see what the hell Trump is saying. Because they don't want to be there. They want to be there to try to pretend that they're above the president and pretend that their little celebrity class rules over the president, can mock him and make fun of him, and they're higher than him. And this little charade of idolatry. And he's saying, screw you to the wall, you idiots. I run the show. I'm the president. You idiots have to chase me. He's playing hard to get. I love it. You see, he's still playing the game, folks. You see, when you watch him, he's still playing the game. He's not sold out completely. He's still playing the game. We'll be right back after the short break with more on breakdown of this incredible speech. Stay with us.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. I'm your host, Hung Sean Moon, the second king of China Google. Let's get back to breaking down Trump's historic 100-day Celebration Day rally at Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Look at where we paused at. Look at this picture where we paused. Look at those people. Look at the good, honest, normal American who is Trump's base. Look at them laughing. They're laughing at the self-appointed elitist, idolatrous class, and they're just mocking them. They're having a great time just laughing at their self-appointment. They're just laughing at the fact that they think, these Hollywood stars and stupid journalists, believe that everybody has to worship them. And this is what it says. Tyrants hate the sound of laughter. They hate it. They hate the sound of people laughing at them because they're so insecure and they're so evil. So you see that totalitarian class, they're sitting in the White House in Washington, in some stupid hotel at a stupid dinner, that they think everybody wishes that they could only, if they only were able to be invited to that dinner, I would have arrived. These are the little weak-minded, pathetic troglodytes that worship fame, fortune, and power. Not the real men and women who actually love their families, who love honor, who love integrity, who have character, who pursue things greater than those things and materialistic things on the earth. They pursue a larger thing. They have no God. They love family. They have faith. They know freedom. They're slaves to the self-appointed, narcissistic, self-worshiping class. And look at them. Look at the normal people. So happy. So happy that he's mocking and making fun of CNN and MSNBC and this stupid establishment class and a stupid White House correspondent and all stupid celebrity cult. Look at them. They're so happy. The totalitarians hate that. They hate seeing people laughing. Let's go back to this thing. Look at that.
The truth is, there is no place I'd rather be than right here in Pennsylvania to celebrate our 100-day milestone, to reflect on an incredible journey together and to get ready for the great, great battles to come, and that we will win in every case, okay? We will win. Because make no mistake, we are just beginning in our fight to make America great again. Now, before we talk about my first 100 days, which has been very exciting and very productive, let's rate the media's 100 days. Should we do that? Should we do that? Because, as you know, they are a disgrace. According to a Morning Consult poll, more than half of Americans say the media is out of touch with everyday Americans, and they've proven that.
Yeah.
According to Media Research Center, 89% of the media's coverage of our administration has been negative and purposely negative. And perhaps
There you go.
that's because, according to the Center for Public Integrity, 96% of journalists who made donations in the last election gave them to our opponent. Does anybody remember who our
Bam!
opponent was?
Shine the light on those little weasels, on those little cockroaches. Shine the light. See, showing those transparent things, shining the light on them. The media, the main fake stream media, totally bought and sold by the global elite and the banking cartels.
That was some opponent. Finally, according to a poll last year from the Associated Press,
And of course, CNN does not show the entire auditorium.
No, they never show the crowd.
They never show the crowd. which of course was huge. Okay, folks, we're having a little technical difficulty. Let's see if our tech team can pull it up. In any case, you see what Trump is doing? He is, of course, he's going to get into a lot of other stuff, but he is tearing down their perfection. He's showing that these people are not only flawed, that they're evil. They're willingly deceptive. They're willingly deceitful. They're not only illegitimate. They're not only self-appointed. They're not only dishonest. They are willingly deceitful. And you see the same fight we had to do on the microcosm. We had to also stand them up. They were all expecting me to go to their little stupid events to try to use me as a prop when they announced they're trying to constitute a fake totalitarian satanic doctrine. But we stood them up. And they say, oh, how dare he, how dare he, how dare he not come under the Han Mother. Why? Because they were all banking on the fact that she would be able to make us sell out and help her with the heresy of erasing father. Now we have major defects in the Chen Jiangung with the Han Mother. Now people are leaving her. Of course, after she is firing off all these people who are trying to say, please don't do this, it's disaster, self-suicide. Just last week, we have couples from inside Chen Jiangung that are now receiving the holy blessing for Father's authority. Wow. Because they're from the Chen Jiangung. And now they're saying themselves,
From the Chongpyong Palace.
From the Chongpyong Palace, they're saying themselves, well, she's erasing everything. She's literally erasing father. I told them that, those little sociopaths. Of course, they come back as sinners. There's always way for redemption. God still has a way for them. But they come back as fallen people who've left God's lineage. They're butthurt about that, so what? Doesn't matter. They realize that the other alternative is hell. It's total separation from God. They come back as sinners. They have to come back repentful. They have to come back with their tail between their legs, humble, and understand that they've sinned gravely, gone along with it for the money, that they were disloyal and they were not part of the 3% who stood up and fought. They were dishonorable. They were weak. They were sociopaths. They were aiding and abetting psychopaths. And they were wrong. But of course, the alternative is death. The alternative is not only being prosecuted with the full extent of the Chen Yigu law, all the treason and sedition they have committed, they're international criminals. And when Chen Yigu gets established, they will be tried for international crimes. But there are those now every week, just at an accelerated pace, people not only waking up, but now realizing they have nowhere to go from this disloyal band of thieves and heretics that have not only destroyed Father, that have actively, just like them, just like the media, just like Trump is talking about, they've self-appointed themselves, they're illegitimate, they're not only deceptive, they're actively deceitful. Actively evil. Actively trying to create the narrative of worship us, worship us, worship us. We're the ones who have power. When they're illegitimate. When there is only one successor, heir, and representative body of true father, true parents. Only one that Father appointed. I am the heir, successor, and representative body of true parents, not self-appointed, appointed by the King of Kings.
Raju.
We'll be right back after this short break.
At break of day, in hope we rise. We speak your name.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
Won't you look around? These are the lives that the world has forgotten, waiting for doors of our hearts and our homes to open. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these. When we love the least of these. If not us, who will be like Jesus to the least of these? If not us, tell me who will be like Jesus to the least of these. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love. Little hands, shoeless feet, lonely eyes looking back at me. Will we leave behind the innocent to grieve? On their own, on the run, when their lives have only begun. These could be our daughters and our sons. And just like a drum, I can hear their hearts beating. I know my God won't let them be defeated. Every child has a dream to belong and be loved. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your.
At break of day, in hope we rise. We speak your name.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. This morning, I'm your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, the second king of China. We're having some technical difficulties with President Trump's speech, but I believe the Spirit of God needed me to say what I need to say. I am not self-appointed, Tim. That's right. See that? All those illegitimate fools, and even the Han, they're self-appointed. None of them are the heir and successor to true father. You have to have a male representative as the father and the son. She's not a male representative. And of course, she's not the successor. And none of those illegitimate children and or illegitimate leaders are the successor either.
That's right.
It's not because I hate them. It's just stating the truth. And this is what is so weird. Satan wants you to live in this fantasy land reality where you can't state the truth. And it's not about people's feelings or anything. It's stating the truth. I am the heir successor and representative body of true parents. And it's not because I chose it.
Hallelujah.
It's not because I was elected it by some popularity contest. His father saw it and he chose me.
That's right.
So we're going to get back to Trump's narrative, to Trump's speech as the internet allows. But now let's go to this incredible article real quick. Concealed carry instructor has firearm classes for church members and incorporates scripture. That's a real pastor right here. Concealed carry instructor Roy Jones teaches church members across Oklahoma the ins and outs of gun safety and usage while weaving in scripture like Psalm 144:1, which says, "Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle." Jones estimates he's taught over 5,000 people across Oklahoma. According to Fox News, the course Jones teaches takes 8 hours and includes lectures that cover handling a weapon, Oklahoma laws regarding gun ownership, and shooting in self-defense. The course also includes practice at the instructor's private range and a 15-question exam. When asked about the often state Christian maxim of turning the other cheek, Jones intimated that Christians are called to turn the other cheek if attacked while preaching the gospel. However, a Christian is not called to turn the other cheek when their loved ones' lives are in jeopardy or even when their own lives are exposed to peril via a home invader, public attacker, or murder. In that situation, a Christian's duty is to fight to defend life. Jones put it this way: "We will turn the other cheek. I'm the least likely guy to pull out a gun in a fight, but we will not turn the other cheek if you're going to assault my family or cut off my head in the process." He points to two examples from Oklahoma, one in which a woman was mauled to death by 2 dogs and another in which a woman was stabbed to death at work by a former employee. He asked, what if they'd have a legal gun and been trained to use it? In referencing the woman who was stabbed, Jones said, "Can you imagine what went through her mind the last few minutes of her life?" Jones wants Christians to understand that being defenseless is not a virtue. Not a virtue.
That's right.
In the understatement of the decade, the About section on the Roy Jones Concealed Carry Facebook page says, Roy offers concealed carry handgun certificate classes. These classes are not your typical gun class. There you go. A real patriot pastor and a real Christian trying to empower his flock to be empowered. Tim, you want to cover something? What is the article?
Yes, the U.S. State Department has issued a travel alert for all of Europe,
There you go.
saying
Ooh,
U.S. citizens should be aware of continued threat of terrorist attacks throughout the continent. In the alert, the State Department cited recent incidents in France, Russia, Sweden, and the United Kingdom, and said Islamic State and Al-Qaeda have the ability to plan and execute terrorist attacks in Europe. The State Department's previous travel alert for Europe, issued ahead of the winter holiday season, expired in February. The State Department official said Monday's alert was not prompted by a specific threat, but rather recognition of the continued risk of attacks, especially ahead of the summer holidays. The alert expires on September 1. Mails, government facilities, hotels, clubs, restaurants, places of worship, parks, airports, and other locations are all possible targets for attacks. The State Department alert said, and in a potentially related story, Pope Francis says that Europe is going to pieces. Oh my goodness, the internet won't allow me to see that.
Yes, I have that here. That's
Okay.
top. That's top news on Breitbart, and it says Pope Francis, Europe is in danger of, quote, falling apart.
Yes.
Here he goes. Every nation is free to vote for the political leaders it wants, said Pope Francis, while Europe itself is in danger of falling apart. Every country is free to make choices it believes are right for itself. I cannot judge if it is making the choice for this reason or another, but I do not know its internal politics. Francis in reference to the upcoming French presidential elections. We must respect people's opinions, honest opinions, and political discussion, he said. During the return flight from Egypt to Rome on Saturday, the Pope granted a press conference to the journalists about the papal flight, during which he was asked about the populist movements expanding in Europe. Virginia Riva of the French group Radio Europe 1 made direct reference to the French presidential election, claiming the French Catholics are being forced to vote for either a populist or an extremist. And they're divided and confused. Late last month, a first round of elections reduced the list of presidential candidates to Marine Le Pen and Front National Party Macron of the En Marche Party. Final run of vote will take place May 7th, that's 5 days, Francis confessed that I do not understand friendships and politics, but repeated the principle that every country is free. Just listen to the Pope and vote communist is really what he's saying. I have worked to have good relations, including with the current president, with whom there was a difficulty once, but afterwards I was able to speak clearly with him about the issue while respecting his viewpoint. I do not know the history of the two candidates, Le Pen and Macron. I do not know where they're from. Yes, I do know that there is one representative of the far right, but the other candidate, I truly do not know where he is from. For this reason, I cannot offer a clear view of France. The Pope said that he was recently asked why there is not a Catholic political party, a proposal that the Pope found impractical and anachronistic. This man is good, but he is living in the last century, Francis said, referring to the person who made the suggestion. The Pope also reflected on the future of Europe, as he has done on other occasions. Europe is in danger of coming undone. This is true. And you were part of it, you fake Pope. You were part of pushing the UN agenda of the mass migration and conquering of Europe. You were the one who was saying Europe doesn't have Christian roots. You were the one that was saying there's no such thing as jihadis and Islamic terrorism when there is something as jihadis and Islamic terrorism plaguing Europe. You were the one pushing for climate change and taxing poor people and carbon taxes. You were the one supporting the EU and the UN. I'm sorry. You were the one pushing for the totalitarian regimes and centralized power. You are the ones that colluded with the CIA and the Vatican Bank and the Rothschild banks. You are the ones pushing it forward. And you want to say, oh, it's in danger of coming undone. Yes, because you helped them do that. And you use your incredible power over Catholics worldwide who literally worship you as God on earth to tell everybody that they should be supporting totalitarianism. And you wonder why Europe is coming undone. You have your hands bloodied. There is a problem that frightens Europe and perhaps increased populism. The problem of migration. This is true, he said, but let us not forget that Europe is made of migrants. There he goes again. There he goes again. Let's not forget that Europe is made of migrants. Centuries of migrants. That's us. Yeah. Migration is not immigration is desired by every nation. But you have to properly vet the people. You cannot let migrate into your peaceful, free, and prosperous country people who hate the idea of a free, prosperous, and free country.
Right.
If you do, that is called suicide. It is called suicide bombers, to be exact, that come in and blow you up. And or drive cars into mass groups of people. Then Sweden wants to ban the cars. Oh, Europe is just such a joke. What a pathetic joke. But of course, the Pope is not innocent. His hands are bloodied in this mess because he's been supporting the narrative of the totalitarian left in the UN and the EU and the conquest of Europe by totalitarian powers allying with the radical Wahhabi-based, Saudi-based jihadis. Are you kidding me? For the takedown of the free and prosperous world? Because no, you can't have any models of freedom and sovereignty and prosperity. You can't have people. You can't have those little ants deciding what they want to do with their lives. You can't have those little ants deciding their own laws. You can't have those little ants deciding what they'll say and which monarchy they will say or support or which bureaucrat that they will listen to. No, you need to be the grasshopper sitting over there. You can't let those ants get that freedom. And that's what they did. That is what they did. And the Pope was involved in that. He was a grasshopper. I'm talking about the movie. It was the Disney. Remember that Disney movie with the ants and the grasshoppers are ruling over them? He was one of the dang grasshoppers. What's that movie called? Ants Life. Ants Life. Ants Life. Let's pull up a clip of that, guys. Ants Life. Grasshoppers talking about ants. Like grasshoppers saying, you can't let those ants over here. Pull up that clip because that's a great clip. That's literally how they see you, folks. That's how they see you, the normal person. The elite predatory class sees you as ants, insects to be crushed, to be used as workers and be tossed away. Boil your own acid, stomach acid. And they want to perch or sit on top of them like vultures that have conquered and conquested some nation states, laughing at them, saying, look at those stupid ants listening to us. even while we're telling them to die. Ha ha ha. That's what they're doing. And the Pope was one of them vultures in a white robe, sitting on top of them, eating them while they're dying. Telling his 1 billion Catholics, or whatever, half a billion Catholics, to support the EU and the UN and the climate agenda. I mean, look at family fraud. I mean, this is exactly the macro. The family fraud is pushing climate agenda as the most dangerous issue. Are you kidding me? Everybody saw yesterday on the King's Report, we showed Lord Monckton's breakdown of the false IPCC data.
Yes.
I mean, these people are brain-dead lunatics, propaganda pimp prostitutes. It is so pitiful. And he's saying, oh, yes, it's frightening that Europe is coming undone. Oh, I believe that this is frightening that the Europe coming undone. Ha ha, I'm a Pope Francis. I have my fake Christianity. I am like a vicar of Christ. You must believe my white fedora. Wait, what is that called? Not fedora. The white shamaka, and my white robe. That you must be very impressed. Yes, Europe is in danger of coming undone. And this is the truth. This is their daddy. Oh my God. And then he says, but let us not forget Europe is made of my... Give me a break. He is part of the global political Satanist cartel. We're sick of these fakers, sick of these fraudsters. God's kingdom has come and we'll vanquish these fake political Satanists. We'll be right back after this short break.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report this morning, May 2nd, 2017. I am your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk. As we see another wonderful thing Trump is doing, Donald Trump looking at breaking up Wall Street banks. Yes! Yes, 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 yes. See, Trump he knows who the controllers are, folks. He knows. The JP Morgans, Goldman Sachs, all of which are connected to the Rothschild group, Soros groups, all connected to the Rothschilds. He knows it's the bankers. Guess what, folks? This is not an old fight. Andrew Jackson, our President Andrew Jackson,
A Democrat.
a Democrat who Trump loves. He has two busts. He has a bust of him in the White Oval Office, as well as a portrait. What did Andrew Jackson fight? Who did he kick out? The European central banks, folks. Because he saw through Europe. He saw how the takeover of Europe happened by the central banks. Even during the Napoleonic Wars. They understood history. They understood what happened to Europe. The fall of Europe was taken over by those who controlled the money supply. Because once the bankers get control of the money supply and are able to print money and are able to create fiat currencies, they're able and take over all, essentially the money in a nation. They're able to buy up politicians, they overtake politics, they overtake religion, everything. Everybody becomes an indentured servant to the bank. Everybody gets to be a debt slave. And it is a modern form of conquest. Donald Trump understands. Look at this. Looking to break up Wall Street banks. President Donald Trump is open to the idea of breaking up giant Wall Street banks, separating consumer lending and investment banking. You know who's been talking about? Kuchtin has been talking about this.
Yeah, it's in the Constitution. It's in the Chinese Constitution.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, to separate those two. And also, no bank can have more than 1% of the market share in the Chinese Constitution.
Praise him, praise him. I'm looking at that right now. Trump said there's some people that want to go back to the old system, right? So we're looking at that. He said the stock markets dipped briefly in response to Trump's comment, but returned to normal levels. Boom, you can see that right here. The U.S. markets, boom, dipping right here, palm. He says that one thing, not giving confidence to the Federal Reserve, not giving confidence to the Wall Street, not giving confidence to the global banking cartel. He's saying, I'm looking at whether or not I want to destroy your power base and destroy your control over the entire world. CNBC downturn turns positive again after following drop after President said he's looking at breaking up big banks. That's incredible. Trump made his remarks in an interview with Bloomberg News. Oh, and he told it to Bloomberg too. Oh, Bloomberg will love that. Reporters in the Oval Office on Monday, he was asked about his campaign suggestion that he would implement a version of the Glass-Steagall law that was passed in 1933. The law required consumer lending and investments to be separate, but it was repealed in 1999 under former President Bill Clinton. The idea was included in the Republican Party platform endorsed by then campaign manager Paul Manafort in 2016. We believe the Obama-Clinton years have passed litigation that has been favorable to big banks, which is why you see all the Wall Street money going to her. He said, we are supporting the small banks and Main Street. Bam! That's it. Local banks, local sovereignty, local lending. That is what you want. You don't want all those banks to be controlled by all the strings of the central banks. And that's what the globalists always want. The centralists and the political states, they want to take control of the monetary supply and how you can get access to money. If they do that, then you become their slave because there's only one place you can go to get money. Whereas if there's many competing small banks, you can go to many different places. You can have many different deals. You can shop around. But when it's all centralized, you're taking everybody's barn for one. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, anytime you have a concentration of power, you have concentration of corruption, a concentration of evil.
There you go.
And the concentration of capital is one form in which power is concentrated. So you have to keep banks small. You have to keep capital decentralized.
And Satan is in the back saying, I love decentralized. Ooh, ah.
That's the reason behind the Constitution of the United States of China, keeping banks to within 1% of market share.
Not be able to monopolize, the market. Absolutely essential for a free and prosperous nation and a sovereign nation.
And it's also in the Constitution to keep commercial banking and investment banking separate.
Boom! And there it is. Trump is attacking that. He knows. He knows what's going on. He's intimating. He's hinting at the fact that he will go after them, or that he might. He hasn't revealed his cards yet, but he's not saying that he'll protect them, which every president promises all the time, because every promise is bought and paid for. Unlike Trump, who paid his own money that he made himself, not getting any money from these special interest groups in his own campaign, which was successful to be the president. Early today, Vice President Mike Pence and Donald Trump met with a group of community bankers at the White House. There it is, community. Look at that, community bank. Trump vowed to get rid of onerous regulations like Dodd-Frank that hurt small banks. You might be small and community banks, but you have a big, big impact on a growing American economy. Absolutely. Pence said, adding that President Trump knew when community banks are strong, America is strong. Bam! 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 Right there. Right there. There you go. That is exciting news because that's going to the root. That's going to the root of the control and the centralization right there. That's what funds the whole political archangel deep state network in Washington.
Yeah, follow the money, right? Follow the money.
That's where the money is. So that him saying that about, wow, that is literally stabbing the core of Satan's heart. And boy, they are freaking out because of that.
It's
freaking out.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Now, do we have that internet power back in? We're trying to pull up. We're having some internet difficulties as we have this pouring rain come down, and then now it has stopped. It was raining 1 second ago, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And now it has stopped.
Now it's stopped.
Oh no, it is still raining. I'm sorry, it's still raining. Look over there. It's actually still raining. You can see the pitter-pattering on the deck over there in the palace. We're gonna have, we're talking about now on the anniversary date of Sanctuary Church to have a beautiful royal ball. All the, everybody has to wear wonderful, beautiful clothes. They have to wear their crowns. The boys have to wear tuxedos. The girls wear your beautiful, gorgeous dresses. Go shopping, get something really hot and beautiful. And then everybody comes, and then we take one picture and very nice. But then everybody also has to bring like the AR-15. So then we'll have a nice, fun picture with AR-15, with the crowns and everything else. And that'll be super cool. Or you can bring your own guns. But we prefer AR-15s because that is really the sign of freedom. That's really the sign of tremendous power. Okay? Which not only Satan and which not only centralized militaries and centralized powers, which control centralized militaries and centralized law enforcement should have. The people of God should have that access to the use of force. Not so they can bully and berate other people, but so that they can defend life. They can defend life. They can defend faith. They can defend country. They can defend sovereignty. You understand? It's for defense. It is so important, and wouldn't that be exciting? All dressed up nice, and the ladies can bring their little holsters, and they can wear their cute dresses because if the ladies got like a waistband, there's a nice holsters that actually are like spandex. Like I got one for the queen. Maybe she can bring it. Where's she at? When she stepped out for just a second. Maybe she can bring that holster. But it's like a waistband one, and they have all these nice pockets to have pistols in. She actually does not prefer that. She likes the standard one where you actually belt carry. And then I also bought another one. She has a bra. In the bra, it clips to the middle of your bra. So it's so fast. You literally go in your shirt and you pull the gun out. It's so fast. But again, you have to be kind of big-breasted, big-busted to use that. You know what I'm saying? Because then it prints and all this stuff, and you can see it. And she does say it is kind of heavy to have something hanging there. You know what I mean? It adds, I'm not joking, it adds to the weight of your breast. And women whose breasts are too big actually have back problems. I'm not joking. I'm like a half doctor, right? They have back problems because it's too heavy. It's like if you're wearing a coat, which is like weighted in the front, always your lower back is going to be stressed every time you do movement. Your lower back, and your lower back we know is one of your smallest muscles. One is your weakest muscles, okay? But she has a whole variety of different holsters. She actually prefers the one on the belt, the normal, inside the waistband carry. But ladies, when they're wearing beautiful satin robes or dresses, that actually they don't want anything to print with material that you can see print very easily. Something hanging out, it's protruding. You know what I mean? So if you're wearing satin or silk or something that's shiny, then you have a big print of a gun. You can see it. Boom, you can see it. Okay, so the ladies will do then an inside the leg holster or a leg holster, which will allow their body line to still be beautiful, but the gun will not print on their dress. You know what I'm saying? And then they can have the pistol on the inside of the legs, or if it's outside, then it can print if the dress is long. So many times they do it inside of the waistband. You see? So we can have all the girls practicing out their holsters and different things to obviously make sure they gotta be have their CCW, etc. But that would be wouldn't that be an interesting photo opportunity? That'd be fun, wouldn't it? We could maybe I'll wear my camo tuxedo with my camo bow tie.
Yes.
My camel bow tie is coming in the mail, so I have to test that out. Camel bow tie with my camel suit. All right, folks, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. See you on the other side.
At break of day, in hope we rise. We speak your name.
Majesty, when we love the least of these. Little hands, shoeless feet, lonely eyes looking back at me. Will we leave behind the innocent to grieve? On their own, on the run, when their lives have only begun. These could be our daughters and our sons. And just like a drum, I can hear their hearts beating. I know my God won't let them be defeated. Every child has a dream to belong and be loved. Boys become kings, girls will be queens.
At break of day, in hope we rise. We speak your name.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Hour on the third hour this day, Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. I'm your host, Hyung Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk, and we are joined on the exciting King's Report today with our brother Pierre Tardy, who has just returned from his travels to Asia, specifically Japan. And have you been to France as well? Were you in France? No. I'm sorry. But of course, Pierre is here following the French election very closely, working with Michel Bouvet, right? Communicating with him at all times. And of course, praying for the nation of France so that sovereignty may be victorious. Pierre, can you give us a report of what is happening in France? Maybe show us some of the things that you have brought. Show the audience as you give a report. Go ahead, Pierre.
Yeah, of course, there's a lot happening. There's only 5 days left until Sunday. And like the king said, it's a chess game with so many layers of lie and deceptions and conniving. So it's very hard to understand. When you see in the Drudge Report that Marine Le Pen is a far-right candidate, that right away you can know that article is not good. Because she's actually a very common sense, very in the center. She's not a far-right candidate. And Macron, which she's opposing on the final runoff on Sunday, is presented as a centrist and as an outsider. He's actually very a progressive leftist and is the insider of the insider. So the media is really sending some wrong information that people don't understand. But basically, the last poll that was on Sunday was 41% for Marine Le Pen and 59% for Macron.
Wow.
And then on Sunday, she one candidate, his name is Dupont-Aignan, that's the last name.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he had 5% of the vote, which is about 2 million people, and he is joining Marine Le Pen.
Oh, good.
So this is a very, very important news because for the last 2 decades, the National Front was put in a cage as the horrible people which are racist and xenophobic and all kind of things. And for the first time, that wall that was created around the Front National was broken by national figures. And so in France, we have to break down the wall, and in America, we have to build a wall. It's different.
Right.
Yes. So this person is like a Cain and Abel relationship, and he's being demonized now, but he's very clear, he's very, very high integrity, and he will bring 2 million people to Marine Le Pen. So right now she has 10 million people for sure. She needs another 8 million people by Sunday.
Wow.
And my guess is that the polls are off because many people don't want to say they are for Marine Le Pen. If they want to keep their job, if they want to keep their friends. So there's a lot going on, and
so there's major discrimination. If you say I'm voting for Le Pen, it's like, oh, you racist, racist.
Much more than Trump.
Wow, because France is so politically correct and so PC, even more so, right? They don't have the whole NRA, they don't have the whole shooting gun ownership, they don't have the whole strong evangelical Christian base, none of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, tomorrow is the national debate on TV, the only one debate between the two candidates, and we expect about 15 million people watching.
Okay, so tomorrow is the national debate.
May 3rd, yeah.
Wow.
So this is another, we have to have a cataclysmic moment event every day until Sunday.
Wow.
This is what usually happened the last minute of the campaign. And so I'm watching for each one because we have to get 8 million people. That is major because the total is about 37 million will vote. Some will not go vote. Some will, say I don't like either side. But this vote in France is so important because we had Brexit and we had the Trump victory. So the French victory is the third for the completion. Then Europe is breaking down. So the New World Order know this is so important, and they have pulled all the stops to.
Oh yes.
This is not just about France, because if Marine Le Pen win, she will support Brexit
Yes.
and Theresa May to get out of Europe.
Good.
And,
Wilda of Netherlands.
yeah, and other country will come to negotiate to the EU.
Sweden's Party of Freedom is also rising.
So when you vote for Macron on Sunday, you are voting for Mrs. Merkel.
Yes.
And when you vote for Marine Le Pen, you're voting for France. And for sovereignty, and she's very, hopefully she will touch the heart of the French people. This is very important.
Right, and if you don't vote for Marine Le Pen, you're a misogynist and you hate all women.
No, actually, no. Actually, the issue of gender did not come because she's not saying vote for me because I'm a woman.
No,
Say,
I
vote,
understand.
yeah. So we have.
That's what the left says when they run a woman candidate. Okay,
Yes.
that's what they blame everybody else who doesn't vote for Hillary Clinton is you're a misogynist and you hate all women.
So on Sunday, France will decide if we are going to be in a 776 type revolution or a 789 type revolution.
With the Jacobins and the French Revolution and socialism, communism.
Yeah, because we are in a very similar scenario where we have it used to be the aristocracy with the clergy and supported by the bourgeoisie, and now we have this new aristocracy, which is the elite,
right,
supported by the people who are doing well in the globalization, and supported by this new religion of the legitimist. Now we have this new religion.
LGBTist?
Yes.
Oh, the gay agenda. Yes, right.
Absolutely. So
transgender.
This is really a very similar, and
now in France, do they have gender-neutral bathrooms?
No.
Okay, but they allow the gay agenda into public schools. And
it's huge.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Way more than America.
Yeah. So what we have actually, Marine Le Pen, number one assistant is gay.
Oh, she's trying to get the gay vote.
No. The people who are gay on the right usually don't try to be outspoken and try to make it, public. But the granddaughter of Jean-Marie Le Pen, which is Marion Le Pen, she made a statement yesterday that she guaranteed that the gay marriage will be changed.
Wow.
Yeah. So she's winning the able side from the Catholic.
So when did France pass the Gay Marriage Act?
During the Hollands, actually before America.
Before America.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were trying to blaze that way.
Yeah, it was. It was forced on the people.
It was forced. Okay.
Because 1.5 million people went into the street, much more than America.
Yes.
So these able side Christians are actually going to move to Marine Le Pen.
Yes, absolutely.
And the leadership of the Catholic Church is into immigration and completely.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah. So.
Well, the Pope is there.
Yeah, the Pope actually doesn't know what's going on. But
he's
anyway.
saying that Europe is collapsing, but he's been responsible for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Part of it.
Yeah.
A very big
so,
part.
and they have their own situation in the Catholic Church where many things are happening.
He's been the Catholic controller to keep his little Catholic ants in line as they're imploded and raped and their culture is destroyed before them.
Yeah. So what we so the next 5 days is very, very important. But Marine Le Pen have been warning the people of what will happen if she's not elected. So this is very clear. If they don't elect her, then immigration will double, will grow more.
Oh my gosh.
This Macron guy is going to run by executive order, and he's totally a puppet of the
Goldman Sachs, he's a banker.
Yes. Yeah, so Goldman Sachs has placed all these people around the different
Around
countries.
they put the Italian
Yeah.
guy in before he was
Yeah,
changed.
exactly. And he's coming back, actually, this guy.
Renzi, right?
Yeah.
Renzi. That's a Goldman
Yeah.
Sachs banker.
Yeah, exactly. So what we have now is we have Goldman Sachs is basically going to sell piece of France.
Right.
And the Bank Rothschild in Europe is a bank of business bank. They're actually getting a commission by selling the piece of France
Right.
to Chinese, to Americans.
They're
to,
selling it out.
So
Right.
the French people actually have a bad idea about America because they think about the America that is at the deep state America. They don't see the America which elected Trump. They think the NATO is America and all this. So they think America is really not a good influence. They have not got the message that there is a America which is the one that elected Trump.
Now, do French people see themselves, if you say, Vive la France, if you say that, do they say you're racist?
No, not at this point.
They say you're a nationalist?
Yeah, but yeah, now there's between the word patriots and the word nationalist. So they're trying to call people who are nationalists to be narrow-minded and xenophobist and
Do they
racist.
call them Nazis there? They call
Yeah,
them-
yeah.
Oh, they do?
yeah. But this new guy, Macron, actually, a year and a half ago, nobody knew about him. He was really Hollande could not be reelected, so he created a new scheme to bring somebody to continue what he was doing, and saying he's not left, he's not right, he has no gender and politics.
He's centrist.
Yeah, exactly.
When he's really a total leftist.
So this guy Macron, you have to be aware. When he was 15 years old, he had sexual relationship with his teacher,
Whoa!
and she became his wife.
Oh, wow. 15 years old. Wow, she's
Yeah.
a pedophile.
Yeah. So yes, and we don't know why his parent is not sue her. I don't know. We
So
have
she
to
was
find
18 or 19? How old was she?
out. She
She
was
was a teacher.
she was 24 years older than him.
24 years older than him?
Yes.
Older than him?
Yes.
And so he's married.
She was 39.
So he's
Yeah.
married to a woman that's 24 years older than now?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And he was 15. So she was actually a pedophile.
Yeah, and some people say that he's also gay. So we may have in the French palace, the Élysée Palace, we may have a triple.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Already, Hollande was, he had a mistress, and he was caught on a motorcycle with a
With a
police going to see another woman. So
my God.
we have really this
It's the
guy.
French loose sexual morals.
Yeah.
That,
Macron is going to be another Justin Trudeau. Exactly.
oh, okay. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So actually,
Just
he's
another
a,
pretty boy,
he's
pretty
a,
face.
He's a psychopath. Basically, he said something in the morning. He said the opposite in the afternoon.
He's part of the psychopathic class, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we have. We have a very, very actually. We are laughing about it, but it's very serious because the consequences are huge.
Now he's saying that he was going to increase sanctions on different countries. I think the Dutch or
Yes,
something.
he's into a war pass. He wants to appear tough, and basically you need a mustache, and he's a Hitler. With the way he talks, if you hear him scream he's basically he does what he's told to.
Yeah, he's threatened Poland, I think. For
Poland, that's right.
Yeah,
Poland, it was
sanctions
Poland.
if they don't accept more migrants.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be right back with more with
Yeah.
Pierre and more of France's situation right after this short break. Stay with us.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. the history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun to the best in compact concealed carry. Carr Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Carr Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit carr.com today.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name. At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name. At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. I'm your host, Hyungja Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk. And here we're joined with Pierre Tardy and the French situation today. This is from Breitbart. Anti-Le Pen riots in Paris yesterday. Police were attacked. Look at this, police on flames.
One person was wanted.
Complete chaos in the streets of Paris. Meanwhile, the State Department has issued a warning to American citizens to not go to Europe, including France. There you go, folks. 2 police have been injured as riots erupted in Paris after supporters and opponents of the populist president Marine Le Pen took to the streets for a May Day Workers' March. That is the International Communist Laborers' March. Hooded left-wing thugs were filmed throwing petrol bombs at police, who responded with tear gas and stun grenades. At one point, a burning shopping trolley was wheeled towards the officers. Supporters of Ms. Le Pen's Front National Party held their annual gathering to honor Joan of Arc. Look at that, to Joan of Arc. Left-wing union members and prior protesters gathered to oppose them. The violent group attacking police were cordoned off from the rest of the crowd near the Place de la Bastille. And according to the paper, more than 9,000 armed police and soldiers have been drafted in anticipation of disturbances. Here's some video of youths protesting, I guess, the first election result. Turns violent. We're having some visual difficulties, but you can hear the audio. You can hear the audio. Let's see if we can see that. No, it looks like they... Oh, there you go. There you go. Black masked thugs and Antifa. Same Antifa, essentially. George Soros probably funded it. Hooded youths throw bottles. In America, these thugs were being paid. On the sideline of the march, about 500 people. Students holding protests at schools. Again, these lefty communists indoctrinated by 97% Marxist professors, 97% are leaning left. 97%, can you believe it? There you go, there's one video. Let's see if this one can be played if I refresh this here. But this one is also shocking. This showed on the ground what is actually happening in France. This was yesterday right here. Let's see. This was France yesterday. Look at that, it looks like a war zone. Look at that, Pierre. It looks like a war zone. Look at that, explosions. That's Paris. See, France is sort of the sort of icon of Western pleasure and Western decadence. It's become that. And so it's now become a new target for jihadis and Islamists who are Saudi-backed Wahhabis who want to go in and destroy the image of freedom, which they believe leads toward decadence, etc., even though their culture brings in complete domination of women and real decadence that's hidden under religiosity, but very, very decadent. But again, you have this whole scenario where France has now become the terror capital of the world, of Europe. France, even more than Britain, France has been attacked now over 40 plus times in the last 2 years, I believe.
Yeah, over 250 people died.
Over 250 people have been murdered and killed in terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
And of course, the news is so jellyfish-like and so fake that they can't even say these are Muslim, Saudi-backed Wahhabis. These are fundamentalist, radical Muslim attacks. They can't say that. They just say it was a suspect. They are so cowardly. They are not. You cannot fight an enemy if you don't know who it is, what it is. You have to be able to identify your enemy. You have to be able to identify the culture that is antithesis and is anathema to freedom and sovereignty. Paris is not only baguettes and coffee bars. It is a place of tremendous secular Western decadence. Because of course they left Christianity and left Christian values. France used to not be like. They used to be very conservative. Mm-hmm. French people used to be very conservative. The men used to be very masculine. They were very powerful warriors. But now they've been so emasculated. They've been so under the program of takeover. They've been so bought into the political correctness, sold out to secularism, left their Christian values, left their strong man and womanhood, and they have become complete slaves to a political, unelected bureaucratic class, which continues to rape them, literally, by bringing migrants so that they can pretend that they're saving them from the very diseases that they're bringing in. Go ahead, Pierre. What are your thoughts on what is happening with these? When you see these riots happening in your streets, did you grow up in Paris?
No.
Okay,
I was born in Lyon.
You're born in Lyon, okay. But when you see this, as a French person, see how your country is being taken down and being ravaged, set on fire, bombs throwing off in the streets, how does that make you feel?
Well, I know that George Soros has armies, the Antifa goons, and they have the army of the jihadists. And then those two armies are being used by the elite to bring fear on the populations.
Soros is an international criminal.
Yeah, he was in Brussels yesterday. And because Hungary wants to get him out of the Hungary, so he come to the EU to negotiate whatever he's doing.
To negotiate, right, to put sanctions on Hungary.
Whatever. Anyway, but basically we have those two army which can be used by the elite to bring fear and control the populations.
Right.
Because they are afraid of the populations. And we know that Satan wants to create one family under Satan.
Yes,
and
yes.
he wants to take out the roots of people. So he wants to take their village, he wants to take their country, he wants to take their... So now in France there are 36,000 village and township, and the EU wants to reduce it to 6,000.
Wow, they want to merge them all.
They want to, yeah, and then they have non-profit who are putting immigrants into small village.
They don't want villages with identities, and they don't want you to have your own identity, your own community. They want to merge everybody, so there's more chaos and more division and more strife. Because when you merge people together and just force them to people go back to their most basic tribal instincts.
Yeah.
And they divide it in terms of race, they divide it in terms of culture and creed.
Yeah.
And then since they're in so close proximity, they end up fighting. And then that's a good trope to say that, hey, we'll help you, we'll save you from fighting each other. We'll be the police. We have to take your tax money. We have to take more money. You have to fund us. We're going to keep the peace. When they're the ones who agitated everything that was being peaceful, with local communities living somewhat separately but having distance from each other so they can live in peace.
Yeah, they don't want you to have a relationship to the mayor. They want to keep the power as far from the people.
Right, that's an excellent point. They
and
don't
that's
want.
Marine Le Pen is fighting for proximity of power. That's what she wants.
Ooh, that's an excellent point.
And
What
she
a
has
beautiful
she
point.
has a very good. So, in one way, Satan wants to keep you away from nature, away from your roots, of your then of the country, of your village.
Of your identity.
Yeah, and then he wants to get rid of the. You don't have parents. You don't have a father. You don't have a mother.
You don't have a nation, no borders.
Yeah, and but
You're not
basically-
French, you're European.
Yeah, exactly. So because people confuse Europe and EU, so everybody wants to be the Europe of free nations. They don't want to be the EU, which is Soviet Union.
Right.
So there's a play on words to get people really manipulated.
That's right. And always it's the lies of the devil. It's the nature of Satan.
Yeah.
He always woos them in, but then in the end he gives them slavery.
Yeah. So this guy Macron will bring the baby farming, the surrogacy, everything to actually.
Oh, baby farming, you said.
Yeah, it's called baby farming. In India, that's what they do in America. It's a multi-billion-dollar business to create babies with no clear parents, and they can be sold.
Right.
And they're born from a bill of sale and a legal contract, and they spend their life looking with my mother, with my father. That's the way.
No identity detached.
Yeah.
No place to hold on to, no culture, no tradition, no
Yeah.
heritage.
So basically, that's what Satan wants: is people who have no roots.
Well, then he can give them his heritage.
Yeah.
They give him his identity, which is to be slave.
Yeah, and that's what actually Anne Mother is doing: is
That's
to
right.
take our roots from which was father.
Our heritage, exactly.
Yeah, we see, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Sever any honorable heritage from itself, give it a fake culture, give it a fake heritage that's connected to Satan, and then rule and reign over it. And tell them that's at their lot in life and that you're their real daddy when you have them as your slaves.
So then they will park people into many big cities, and they're like in a cage, and basically it's a competition between robots and humans. So as they get more and more smart robots, they basically they don't see a difference between a human being and a robot.
And they said there's an article that says 50% of robots, human labor will be replaced by robots.
Yeah. So that's
At some
what it's happening.
Well, well, as you can see in this video, you can see how Paris is breaking down. 9,000 armed police. Look at this. Look at this federal force. What is the population of France?
65 million,
65 million. And how many radical jihadis have come in? Or how big is the Muslim population there?
I don't know the data.
millions, though,
In the Muslim population, it's about 6 million.
So it's about 10%.
Yeah,
That's what Michelle was saying. It's about 10%. It's a little. It's either 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
And of course, of those 10 to 15%, you have even just 1%. It's 600,000 which are radicalized. Okay. Then if you have 1% of 10%, that's 10% of obviously 10%. Then you have 600,000 radicals potentially that are connected with jihad against France. Potential. Okay. But again, you have the French federal force, the federal police there, now being drafted in, being called into the streets. And of course, most of these cops want to serve the public. They want to do the good thing. But there's such an establishment there. And we know that when centralized power owns and federalizes armed force, they use it as a private army. It becomes a private army, not public, private army for the elite.
Yeah, they're doing like Obama, taking out anybody with resistance.
Anybody
And
against them.
Sam, the Pope is doing the same thing. He's taking all the cardinals who are against him. So you take out anybody who can be resist you.
Right, and that's also happening with Trump now trying to take out Assange and trying to take out InfoWars. Of course, people in his administration, not him directly.
But basically, they want to have the one-party system. Hillary wanted also the one-party system.
There you go.
Where they can do forever. The next election, they already won because they have brought enough people.
From both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. We'll be right back with Pierre Tardy and more on Europe and the crises around the world. Stay with us.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. I'm your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, the second king of Chunigo, here with Pierre Tardy, that is returning from Japan, but of course commenting on France, as he's staying very atop the news and in contact with all his French brothers and sisters out there. Now, in France, how do the French people see President Donald Trump and what he's doing?
Well, the media is so much against him
They hate him, don't they?
that they basically they think he's a bit, especially with what's happening with North Korea, what's happening in Syria. Now they're confused because he's not behaving the way they were expecting. So
Right.
it's not helping Marine Le Pen. I wish he could be more supportive of her, but she now is cannot say too much because what's happening in terms of war activities with
Now,
with
was it in France that they had the picture of, or was it German? It was a German magazine, or anyways, European magazine, that had a picture of the Statue of Liberty's head cut off by Trump.
I don't know.
You didn't see that one?
No.
And just yesterday at the Labor Workers' Day commie parade that was happening all over America and different parts of the world, they had people parading around with shirts on with a jihadi woman, a girl jihadi, holding the decapitated head of Trump. Guys, pull that up. Jihad, May Day, M-A-A Day, jihadi decapitates Trump shirt, t-shirt. They have a picture of that as well. But of course, we were discussing this speech of Trump. Let's go back to the speech and have,
That was a German magazine.
that was a German magazine, wasn't it? Let's go back to Trump's speech. Let's bring up my screen, guys, and let's go back to Trump's
Fight
speech.
to make America great,
Great again. Now, is that also Marlene saying, let's make France great again? Is what she's saying.
Now, before we
Yeah.
talk
She's the
about
Joan of Arc. She's hearkening back to
my
its
first
Christian roots, too.
100
Yeah, she
days,
wants to
which has
return
been
the
very
order in
exciting
France.
and very productive.
Order, and also Joan of Arc becomes the
Let's
icon.
rate
Yeah,
the media's
especially from a father's point of
100
view.
days. Should we do that? Should we do it?
Okay, let's put up that audio a little more. I can't hear.
Because, as you know, they are a disgrace. According to a Morning Consult poll, more than half of Americans say the media is out of touch with everyday Americans.
Now, is Marine Le Pen also attacking the media when she has a chance?
Yeah, she does, but not as much as
According
Trump.
to media
Why? She should be
research
going after
Because
them.
she had to do so much
89%
to
of the media's
change the image of the party
coverage
with the
of our
people. So
administration
she's more careful.
has been negative.
She's
But
more
I wish
careful.
she was more
purposely
aggressive.
negative.
Yeah.
She's more, so people like the
perhaps-
freshness, you know? People like it if she speaks the truth.
That's because according
She's
to
too
the
polite, people
Center
don't-
for
you know what I mean?
Public Integrity, 96% of journalists who made donations in the last election gave them to our opponent. Does anybody remember who our
97% were
opponent
leftist
was?
lunatics of journalists. You can see how it's dominated by the left, the totalitarian left. Look, there you go. Lock her up. Lock her up. There they go. Say, lock her up. Go after her.
They need new slogan.
See,
That was
Trump
some
needs to be with
opponent.
the people because he gets to hear the
Finally-
pulse.
According to a poll last year from the Associated Press, only 6% of Americans have a lot of confidence in America. That's very bad. That's much lower than Congress, by the way. But I'll give you an example of something really incredible. That's right. Get them out of here. Get
There
them
were some
out.
agitators.
There were some disruptors. They were taken out. Yeah.
There we
They were
go.
escorted out.
They're gonna go Trump, 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 Trump. Now in France, do you hear the people at the crowds also chanting France, France, France?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of chant. I don't know all of them, but they are chanting. Yeah. There's enthusiasm when Marine Le Pen.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
enthusiasm.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Le Pen will definitely
Do
work with
we
Trump.
love our law enforcement or what? And I want to thank the fire marshals. They have a lot of people standing outside. We really maxed out. We
Well,
broke the
interesting news in
all-time
Berkeley
record
riots,
for this
they actually,
arena.
the
How
police
old is
did
this
their job and
arena?
arrested
This
like
is
6
not it.
different people.
We broke the all-time
So they made
record.
some arrests in Berkeley, actually arresting those
And I don't have a
Antifa,
guitar, which is pretty
people
tough.
who are attacking innocent Trump
So
supporters.
just as an example of media, take the totally failing New York Times.
There he goes, going. What is the main newspaper in France? Like the New York
Pretty
Times?
Well,
soon
the
they'll
two
only
main,
be on
one,
the
Figaro
internet. The
and
paper's getting
Monde.
Figaro, oh.
The Monde is owned by
You
Pierre
ever
Berger,
notice?
which is the
Starting to
number
look like a
one
comic book.
force behind the gay movement.
Oh
But
my
I will
gosh!
tell you,
Wow.
because I watched
So they have
it,
tremendous
I
power,
used to
the
be a
left,
real estate
Yes.
business.
totalitarians
They sold
in-
their
8 people
beautiful
own
New York Times
90% of the
building
media.
in Manhattan.
Wow.
8
A
people.
cathedral to journalism. Such a beautiful, beautiful building.
It's the same
For
system.
around
See, it's the same
100
exact
Same,
system.
no, they're all working together.
Same exact
And a
system.
group that bought it later sold it for approximately $500 million. And now they live in a very ugly office building in a crummy location. Next, they buy the Boston Globe newspaper with
the New York
losses for $1.3 billion, invest millions and millions and millions of dollars to get it going, and in the end, they sell it for zero. They give it away. And then they write nasty editorials and op-eds telling me how I should be handling world events and our country. Tell me. But that's what we have. They're incompetent, dishonest people who, after an election, had to apologize because they covered it, us, me, but all of us. They covered it so badly that they felt they were forced to apologize because their predictions were so bad. You remember their predictions? They lost a lot of people because of the way they covered. So here's the story. If the media's job is to be honest and tell the truth, then I think we would all agree the media deserves a very, very big, fat, failing grade. Very dishonest people, and not all of them. You know, we call it the fake news. Not all of them. You notice now everybody's using the word fake news. Where did you hear it first, folks? By contrast, for the last 100 days, my administration has been delivering every single day for the great citizens of our country. Whether it's putting our coal miners back to work, protecting America's steel and aluminum workers, we love that steel and aluminum, or eliminating job-killing regulations, we are keeping one promise after another, And frankly, the people are really happy about it. They see what's happening. But to understand the historic progress that we've made, we must speak honestly about the situation that we and I inherited. Because believe me, the previous administration gave us a mess. For decades, our country has lived through the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. You people know it better than anybody in Pennsylvania. Our factories were shuttered, our steel mills closed down, and our jobs were stolen away and shipped far away to other countries. Some of
Did
which
they shut
you've
down
never
France
even
and
heard of.
manufacturing as well? And
Politicians
completely
sent
shut down.
troops to
Yeah,
protect
actually,
the borders
the west of France
of
voted for
foreign
Marine Le Pen.
nations,
This is
but
where they lost
left
the most jobs.
America's borders wide open.
And what is the main
for
industry
all
there
to
in the West?
violate.
Well, same as Pennsylvania,
We've
similar.
spent
Same.
billions
I
and
mean, I'm not aware of everything
billions
because
of
I don't
agriculture,
live there
steel,
anymore.
and all those
But
manufacturing,
the county
yet,
who lost most
as
job
gangs
support her.
flooded into our country, we couldn't even provide safety for our own people. Our government rushed to join international agreements where the United States pays the costs and bears the burdens, while other countries get the benefit and pay nothing.
Boo.
This includes deals like the one-sided Paris Climate Accord,
The Paris climate. There
where
you
the
go.
United
Paris
States
climate change. There it
pays
is.
billions of dollars, while China, Russia, and India have contributed and will contribute nothing. Does that remind you of the Iran deal? How about that beauty, right? On top of all of that, it's estimated that full compliance with the agreement could ultimately shrink America's GDP by $2.5 trillion over a 10-year period. That means factories and plants closing all over our country. Here we go again. Not with me, folks.
I hope that's true.
Those are the facts,
I hope
whether
he
we
follows
like
through.
them or not.
Ivanka's against
The
that.
dishonest media won't print them, won't
We ain't vote
report
for
them.
Ivanka. She's got to get out of the way.
Because the Washington media is part of the problem. Their priorities are not my priorities, and they're not
Get out
your
of the Paris
priorities. believe
climate
me.
agreement.
Their agenda is not your agenda. And I'll be making a big decision on the Paris Accord over the next 2 weeks. And we will see what happens.
Just don't
But
let
they're
Ivanka
all
into the
part
office.
of a broken system that has profited from this global theft and plunder.
She's saying
of
that
American
migration
wealth
has to continue.
at the
Radical
expense
Muslims have to continue to
of
be
the
important to
American
Europe for the
worker.
sake of women. The girl is
We are
crazy.
not going
She goes to the
let
Women's
other
Summit
countries take advantage
in with Merkel
Because
out there in Europe,
from now on,
saying that
it's
for the
going to
sake
be
of women,
America
you need to bring in more migrants. She's smoking crack. What a terrible
And I
disappointment.
have to-
Terrible, Ivanka. And Jared Kushner. Total traitors to the Patriot movement. They are not supporting their father and father-in-law. They're helping sabotage him.
And I have to just interject, because as you know, I've been a big critic of China. And I've been talking about currency manipulation for a long time. But I have to tell you that during the election, number one, they stopped. But more importantly, just to show you the dishonesty. So we have currency manipulation by China. But China is helping us, possibly or probably, with the North Korean situation. Okay? Which is a great thing. Great thing. And I met with the president of China at great length in Florida, and we had long talks, hours and hours and hours. He's a good man. Now he's representing China. He's
Except
not
for the organ
representing us,
harvesting and
but he's
the,
a good man.
Complete
And
totalitarian
I
regime
believe
there.
he wants to
few minor
get that
faults,
situation taken care of. They have tremendous power, and we'll
Again,
see
he has
what
to work
happens.
with demons.
But the media said Donald Trump refuses to name China a currency manipulator. Now think of this, right? Now we have to have a little flexibility. So I meet with the president of China, and I say, could you help us out with North Korea? You know, you give them 93% of their different materials that they need and their food. And you have a lot of power. We have a great relationship. And then the media said, why didn't he call Donald Trump? And why didn't Donald Trump at a meeting say you're a currency manipulator? So here's the story. Listen, Mr. President, will you help us out with North Korea? But by the way, you're manipulating your currency. It doesn't work, right? So instead of, you understand. So instead of saying that, let's see what happens. I honestly believe that he's trying very hard. Not an easy situation for China, believe me. Not an easy situation. But we have somebody there who's causing a lot of trouble for the world. We have China, who is really trying to help us. You've seen they've sent back vast amounts of coal coming out of North Korea. So let's see what happens.
China provided the
And I
materials for
think
North
it's
Korea to
not
build the
exactly
nuclear
the right
weapons in the
time
first place.
to call China a currency
It's a problem that they're
manipulator right
making
now. Do we
in a
agree
large
with
part.
that? But they never say that. They say, why didn't he do it? So I promised you in my inaugural address 100 days ago that now arrives the hour of action. And we've, believe me, started from day one. And that is what we've delivered. 100 days of action. In fact, those people and others are exhausted. They've never seen anything like that. They've never seen anything.
He also
like
goes on to hit Obamacare, saying that he's going to repeal it. I don't know when
We
that
are
comes out.
ending the offshoring and bringing back our beautiful, wonderful, great American jobs. We are eradicating the criminal gangs and cartels that have infiltrated our country. You're reading about them all the time. Some of you have big problems with them. Thank you for that sign. Blacks for Trump. I love that guy. Blacks for Trump. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, man. That's great. That's really cool. I appreciate it. And we're taking steps to renegotiate or cancel any agreement that fails to protect American interests. Here are just some of our great achievements from the first 100 days. And I will tell you, in addition to that, we have built such strong foundations with the leaders of foreign countries, and we're set to rock. But we have great relationships with Germany and Japan
Let's skip
and
this break,
China
guys. We have
and so many others.
just one more segment.
We've appointed and confirmed a brand new justice of the United States Supreme Court.
That's huge.
Yes, that's big. That's big.
Hillary would have got 4 or 5 in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, Neil Gorsuch.
She would have turned this place into a
Justice
commie
Neil
nation.
Gorsuch, who will uphold the Constitution and the right of Americans to govern their own affairs.
Second Amendment, come on.
And
it's
the
coming in.
last time a new Supreme Court justice was confirmed in the first 100 days was 136 years ago in 1881, and I was devastated to hear that because I thought I'd be the only one to have done that.
That's interesting. He's going after it. See, he's delivering on many things.
A
He
long
is.
time ago.
Gorsuch is big because he's Second Amendment. He's very pro-Second Amendment.
To protect our jobs and our economic freedom, I immediately withdrew the United States from the horrible, disastrous, would have been another NAFTA but worse, Trans-Pacific
TPP.
Partnership.
He did. Pulled us out of that.
That would have taken you jobs in Pennsylvania, that I can tell you. That was a total hoax. The TPP would have been a tremendous disaster for our country, and we are not going to surrender Pennsylvania jobs ever again. We've done that once before. It's not going to happen. We've just launched an investigation into foreign steel dumping and aluminum dumping throughout our country. We are reviewing every single trade deal, and wherever there is cheating, we will take immediate action and there will be penalties. And we have with us tonight Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross, and one of the great, great people on fair trade and good trade, Mr. Peter Navarro. Thank you. Thank you. And we will renegotiate NAFTA, and if we don't get a good deal and a fair deal for our country, and I've been saying for a long time, we'll either renegotiate or we'll terminate. I announced the other day we were going to terminate. Everybody said we'll terminate. Two people that I like very much, the President of Mexico, Prime Minister of Canada, they called up. They said, could we negotiate? I said, yes, we can renegotiate. So we'll start a renegotiation, and hopefully it'll be fair for everybody. And if it's not a fair deal for our country, because you have to understand, we have been on the wrong side of the NAFTA deal with Canada and with Mexico for many, many years, many decades. We can't allow it to happen. So we're going to renegotiate, and if we can't make a fair deal for our companies and our workers, we will terminate NAFTA, okay?
That's good. That's good.
Our directors will put brand new Pennsylvania steel into the spine of America. We've ordered billions and billions of dollars in unpaid duties to be collected at the border from countries that break the rules, and that just started. It's going to be a lot coming in. We just want fairness. And I followed through on my promise and issued a new government directive to buy American and hire American.
Marine Le Pen is saying she's also running on that as well? That's good.
In just
Boy,
these
the
first few
centralists
months,
must hate her.
we've created
They do hate her.
99,000 new construction jobs, 49,000 new manufacturing jobs, and 27,000 new mining jobs. Who are the miners here? The miners, finally. We're taking care of our miners. We love our miners. And we have over 600,000 new jobs. And by the way, the stock market since our election is through the roof. I believe, from the point of the election, isn't it too bad that the Obama administration gets a lot of credit for those couple of months? But it's all right, because we're doing fine, but they get credit for that because people started going wild with the stock. But I believe we have a record from the time we got elected, from November 8th. We have a record, an all-time record, for the biggest increase in the stock market. So I'm very happy about that. We've removed the shackles on energy exploration imposed by the last administration, lifting the restrictions on the production of oil, shale, and natural gas. And very importantly for Pennsylvania, we have ended the war on beautiful clean coal, and we are putting our great coal miners back to work.
He's got to end the war on drugs.
We love our miners. I'm also very pleased to say that we have finally cleared the way for the construction of the Keystone XL and Dakota Access pipelines. 48,000 new jobs. They couldn't get their approvals. We got them their approvals in 24 hours, one day. And I want to tell you, the heads of those two companies, they didn't know what the hell happened. They said, how did this happen? They should go to bed and say their prayers. But that's going to be approximately 48,000 jobs. My administration has also scrapped a job-killing regulation that was threatening our auto workers. We want more cars made in the USA, and that's going to happen. We've created a new rule which requires that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated.
That's really
And we have
unprecedented.
signed
That's really
massive executive orders clearing up the environmental bureaucracy. We're going to have jobs, and you're seeing them already. We've also been very busy on the legislative front, which we have gotten no credit for, and yet I am signing away. I've signed 29 new bills, a record not surpassed since the Truman administration. This includes 13 resolutions to eliminate intrusive federal regulations, the most ever signed in our history. In keeping our promise to our veterans, I've signed legislation to extend Veterans Choice, and David, the head of the Veterans Administration, is here with us tonight. David Shulkin. Did an incredible job. And we've increased by 42% the approval for veterans using the Choice program. I've also created an Office of Accountability at the VA. Our message to federal workers is clear. If you fail our veterans, you will be held accountable. First time. To create accountability across government, I've issued a 5-year ban on federal officials becoming lobbyists after they leave government service. Good?
That's an excellent one.
I've got a lot of people in my staff who are not exactly happy with that one, but that's okay. And I've issued a lifetime ban on federal officials becoming lobbyists for a foreign government.
Boom. That's excellent. That's an excellent.
I've imposed these bans for a simple reason. It is time to drain the swamp. And that's what we're doing in Washington, D.C. Perhaps in no area have past governments sold out special interests and foreign lobbyists more than on the issue of immigration. Year after year, you pleaded for Washington to enforce our laws. As illegal immigration surged, refugees flooded in, and lax vetting threatened your family's safety and security. Your pleas have finally been... Oh, don't worry, we're going to have the wall. Don't worry about it.
There's already contracts that are flooding in from, proposals from, wall construction companies, both U.S. and Mexico, saying, hey, we want the contract to build it, we want the contract. Maybe a Mexico company will help build it. That would be good, actually. That would be really good. That would be harder to attack.
We've done so well at the border. A lot of people are saying, oh, wow, maybe the president doesn't need the wall. We need the wall to stop the drugs and the human trafficking. We need the wall. In just 100 days, we have taken historic steps to secure our border, imposed needed immigration control like you've never seen before. Is that true? And properly screen and vet those seeking admission into our country. They are going to come in because they love our country. We're not taking
The
them
Ninth Circus Court has been
otherwise.
constantly blocking his stuff, so he's
We
been
are
trying to move on that.
operating on a
But they've been
very
continuing to block
simple
stuff, even though
principle.
Obama's the one who made
that
the
our
stupid laws.
immigration system
Ridiculous.
should
So
put
Trump has
the
been doing
needs of
tremendous
American
things.
workers, American
Again, there are other
families,
things where he's
American
negotiating and he's
companies,
playing this
and
ninth dimensional
American
chess where he has to
citizens
play different
first.
power blocks against themselves and make them sabotage each other without having
I
himself killed.
appoint
So there's a lot going on.
a great
At the same time, he's moving
military
at
general,
breakneck speed in the first 100 days,
John
as he's
Kelly,
mentioning in the speech,
to lead
to
the
break down the
Department of
establishment
Homeland Security.
and to break down federal control and federal power. He's turning down regulation. He's increasing jobs back to the U.S. He's turning on manufacturing to the U.S. He's turning things back on. But at the same time, he's shutting the federal government off, making, there's orders, like that executive order where they make new one law, they have to eliminate two. Taking out the
Regulations,
lobbyist
yes.
group. He's also attacking the lobbyist group because the lobbyist group is huge in Washington. Huge.
Yes.
He's banning them from working for foreign governments if they work for the United States. So he's absolutely moving on some of these key promises. Again, they're happy now because he's now promised $1 trillion until September or October. Was it October?
To the end of September, yes.
To the end of September funding. But again, that seems to be a compromise that he's working on so that everything doesn't get thrown out of whack.
Yeah, the Democrats are really rejoicing over that agreement.
They're rejoicing. And in 100 days, this guy has done incredibly a
who had
lot.
been killed,
Unprecedented numbers.
viciously killed.
He's dealing with major crime bosses, major criminals, and of course trying to fight ISIS and all this kind of thing at the same time.
We will
He's dealing with a
protect
lot on his table.
American lives.
It's not a joke.
Your family member will
But of course,
not have
Trump
died
looks
today.
most at home when he is with the people
Yes.
and when he's with his constituents. Look at that. Look at how at home he looks with his people. He's got to do this more. We've told him from the beginning. He's got to stay out of the White House. He's got to be in the people's house. He's got to be with the people and, of course, in the Gold House. He can do his work out of the Trump Tower, that's fine. But he's got to keep doing these tours. This is what keeps him honest. This is what keeps him face to face with the people. This is what allows the people to voice their opinion. If he starts swaying real leftists and real Republican right now, and he's just constantly engaging in the war and enriching the military-industrial complex, well, then people can complain about it. But we have to be able to see him face to face in order for him to get the direct feedback, because now he has the ability to transcend the media and to go around the media, circumvent the media, because they can't control the narrative now. He can tweet people, he can have his own broadcast, whatever. So now he can talk directly to the people, but we cannot talk directly to him. That is when he's with the people doing these tours, where people can show him either support or they don't like what he's doing. And that's important. That's important that the president is doing that and Trump is doing that. This speech was a historic speech. We don't have time to cover all of it on the King's Report today. On Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. We can stop that there. Trump, of course, having to deal with many things. Please pray for our president. Please pray for our nation. Please pray for the world. There is so much going on, folks. Thank you, Pierre Tardy, for giving us that update on France, and also welcome back from Japan to the United States. We're happy to have you and your family back. It's amazing what's happening worldwide. You can see the patriots are gathering. The patriots are speaking forth. The micro and macro are moving at the same speed, breakneck speed. There's many, many dangers that are in the future. Many, many dangers that are in our midst right now. But God's power is shining through with the honest integrity, the heritage that God has given us. Good people, the 3%, remember it's the 3% that change the world. It's the 3% that wins the Revolutionary War. It's the 3%, the 30% support, but the 3% go out and fight. And it is that small patriot class that ends up changing the history and the fortunes, the destinies of nations. We thank you once again for joining us on the King's Report this day, Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. We ask not only that you pray for your president and for the world, but to stand in your proper place as a citizen of the kingdom of God, as a king and queen of your tribal lineage, standing with the King of Kings and the three kingship and the King of Kings lineage to stand up against political Satanists, to stand up against the evil of centralized power and government, the archangelic power on this world, so that God's kingdom, when it comes, Satan's power will be wiped off the face of the earth, and the Chinese Constitution will reign and rule over all those demons and give back the sovereignty, freedom, and responsibility that belongs to us, the people of God. We'll be seeing you tomorrow with Tim Elder on the King's Report, and I will see you tomorrow on the Korean service if you're joining us on our broadcast then. If not, I'll see you back Thursday, 5 a.m. sharp on the King's Report. God bless, Godspeed, and may his kingdom come.
When I've almost reached the end, like a flood, you're rushing in. Your love is rushing in. You light up the sky. You light up the sky to show me you are with me. I can't deny, no, I can't deny that you are right here with me. You've opened my eyes so I can see you all around me. Light up the sky. You light up the sky to show me that you are with me. So I'll run straight into your arms. You're the bright